What is up, everybody? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. Welcome to Rockin Robbie Live. I am your host, Rockin Robbie Billups, and tonight we are doing the show where we gather on Sunday evening and we talk about movies, comic books, and a whole lot more. And I want to give a mighty hearty station, pop, pop, boom to everybody out there tonight. If you're in the chat, jump in, say what's up, throw out a station, let us know that you're here like GT Key Comic and the artist formerly known as Jesse Say What? Just like they have done. Please let us know once you're in here. How are you doing? Super excited to be here tonight for Rockin Robbie Live. We got a great show planned for you tonight. We're going to be talking about our favorite comic books of last week. We'll be looking ahead at what's coming up in shops this week, including the DC sneak peek. We'll be talking about a recent movie that I watched. It's called Everything Everywhere All at Once. We'll be talking about that. Non-spoiler review. We'll be doing a Marvel in the 80s bit. We'll be talking about the next step in the journey of the Kung Fu Hong Kong cinema, guided by Sifu Bullseye Bob. Riccio, y'all, I cannot wait to talk about that one. We'll be talking about our top 5 movies of 2003, all that and more here on Rockin Robbie Live. And of course, this show is driven, fueled, if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, your comments, and your concerns. So get them in right now. What do you want to talk about? What are the topics that you want to get into? Because throughout we just ramble. This is the chance that I have to directly interact with you out there in the PCP Army. Speaking of the PCP Army, you should join the PCP Army on Facebook. It's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. We're also on Facebook as Pop Culture Philosophers, as well as on Instagram. And you can follow me on Twitter at the Rockin Robbie. And of course, you should check out podcasts more at popculturephilosophers.com. Speaking of which, the latest episode of the podcast, Comic Book Villains, including me, Hammer Time Holeshoe, Dashing Drew Matson, and Jolly Joe Corallo. We're going to be talking about comic book villains. That podcast drops tomorrow morning, so you definitely want to check that out on popculturephilosophers.com, where it's free to download, or of course on iTunes or whatever podcast platform you like. It's probably on there. Who knows? And if you want to support the channel, you can do so at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP Patreons right there, or with a super chat or a super thanks. That's a new thing. And I will remind you that all super chats from this point till the end of the month will directly contribute to my journey to Heroes Con. And, I plan on buying a lot of friends of the show drinks. So we appreciate all the support, including the super chat we just got from Twitch 13MP. Let's get this party started out right. Thank you so much, Twitch, for the super chat. We really do appreciate the support, but it is just support enough being here, participating, joining in the conversation, liking, sharing, subscribing, all that jazz and more. We just recently crossed 13K. We're hopefully going to hit 14K. I would love to hit 15 by the end of the year. So everybody spread the gospel, the PCP gospel. What's coming up here on the channel? Well, first of all, let me remind you, check me out over at the EXP for the Comic Collectibles show with Dynamic Forces. That's every Monday night at 5 p.m. Central Time over at the Experience. And if you're ever at dynamicforces.com and you want to buy something, be sure to enter Robbie at your cart. That will give you 10% off. Like I said, the Rockin Robbie Tour is in full swing. We are a month away from the next stop, which is going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina, Heroes Con. Big lineup there. Very excited to be there. PCP Movie Night tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Time. It's Crew's Choice time of the year. It's Brooks's pick, and Brooks, not Bruce, who's Bruce? Brooks picked Dead Man. Really good film. I cannot wait to talk about it. And then Saturday night for Dylan's Horror Show, we're talking about the Lucio Fulci Uncomfortable classic, The New York Ripper. So how is everybody doing? Let's see who's in the building. CTA Frank is in the house. Of course, Twitch is in the house. Kags is in the house. Moni is in the house. Spilio is in the house. What's up, my dude? What's up, Kirk? What's up, Rogue Collecting? What's up, 62 Lefty Blues? Slap that like button like you're tackling Dave Chappelle. Hell yeah. I guess don't tackle Dave Chappelle, though. Don't tackle anybody. Especially if they're performing on stage, man. Don't do that. Easy Reader, what is up? What's up, Joram? How is everybody doing tonight? What do we want to talk about? First topic I'll bring up is the She-Hulk trailer. That's something everybody's been talking about. I am a fan of the of She-Hulk, of the character. I got into She-Hulk the same way Fable did. I watched Blame Fable Tonight. By the way, we were a few minutes late. You can truly blame Fable for that because the Blame Fable Tonight show ran a little bit long and I was just transfixed. I love that show. We are the official after party for the Blame Fable Tonight show. They had Inja Benja on tonight. They reviewed, what's that movie? Knives Out? I never saw that, so I skipped out during the movie review, but I did come back. However, that's a great show, so always check them out. But they talked a little bit about it, and Fable said that he got into She-Hulk during the John Byrne days when she came into the Fantastic Four. She had her own series. Same. Me too. So I felt that John Byrne nature of She-Hulk come through in the trailer. The CG does look bad. Does look really bad. And I watched the Jeremy Johns trailer reaction, and he said something that rings very true to me. He said, every time they do one of these trailers, we go, the CG doesn't look very good, but don't worry, they still got time. They're working on it. But in pretty much almost all the cases, that's actually not true. What you see in the trailer is what the fuck you get. So, I don't think it's because it's... I think the CG is cheaper than they should have been. Here's my theory, and this is based in no reality, okay? Just based on my own preconceptions or misconceptions or postconceptions, whatever. But my idea is I think they spent too much money on WandaVision and Loki in particular. And I think that for what they were expecting out of it, they didn't quite get. And I just feel like they had to scale back some aspects of production. And obviously now they have, in the case of Moon Knight, probably had a very lucrative offer for Oscar Isaac to come in to do the role. But the CG in that one looked weak. And here's the thing. I am going to be more forgiving of the CG of She-Hulk because I think that what they're trying to do with it is going to be difficult to begin with. And the closer you get to accurately portraying a humanoid character on screen with CG, the closer we get to that uncanny valley, right? So every bit of improvement, it makes it feel off somehow. But I'm not saying that the CG, I'm saying that I think they scaled back production and money and cost on things like CG. So I don't think it's what it would be if this was a She-Hulk film, for sure. Okay? That being said, I will be more forgiving because it's more difficult to do She-Hulk than it is Moon Knight because you could literally just put a dude in a fucking suit with a cape. You don't have to CG it. She-Hulk, you may have to CG. I get it. And so we'll see what happens when it comes out. That being said, I am excited for the show. 10 episodes. Okay. Let's hope they don't waste time. We saw Frogman in the trailer. Titania was in the trailer. People have compared it to Peggy Bundy. We'll see what they do with that. But what do y'all think about that She-Hulk trailer? I like that being said, I'm going to say like the She-Hulk CG does look wonky. Doesn't look quite like what Marvel or Disney Plus is capable of. But I will be more forgiving of it because with Moon Knight, you could literally put a fucking dude in a suit. She-Hulk, I get it. And the better it's going to be, the more unsettling or weird, uncanny valley-esque it's going to be. Not saying that it's hitting that level, but just saying I'll be more forgiving. Because Moon Knight, what the fuck? 9 episodes, not 10. Okay, I think that's good. All right, let's see where we are here. Trade Paper Dad's in the house. I am feeling pretty much almost all better road collecting. I still got a little bit of a cough. I am not running out of breath very often anymore, so that's cool. I would say that right now I want to overestimate and say like 95% fully like Rockin Robbie, but I'm probably more like 85 to 90. But I'm still there. I'm still good. I'm way better than I was, I'll tell you that. But I'm still coughing a little bit and hacking shit up still. COVID ain't no joke, y'all. And you can be as safe as you want. You can get all the vaccines and all that stuff, but you may have to deal with it. Just be prepared, man. Take care of yourselves. Exercise. Eat right. Take your vitamins. Do everything. Indulge with what's the word? It's hard to think of the word right now because I rarely utilize it. I'm just kidding. What the fuck is the goddamn word? Moderation. God damn, why can't I think of that? But anyway, thank you. Ben says, best way to spend a Sunday night, baby. Well, thank you so much, Ben. Thank you for being here. Station. Evil Face Bad in the house. Jim Jarmusch directed Dead Man. It's a classic. Yeah. Director of Sling Blade, Ghost Dog, Way of the Samurai. I had never seen it. I barely had even heard of it. Brooks had heard about it through a college professor. I'm sure he'll talk about it tomorrow night. He watched it in college and was kind of into it. So he bought it on DVD. He let me borrow his DVD. And I watched it, not really expecting much out of it. And fucking goddamn, I was really blown away. Twitch says, I'm still upset over my Slaughter Pack number 3. That is horribly disappointing. Yeah, I saw that you got like 2 issue 14s and no 15 or something like that. That does suck, man. Empire, what is up? Empire Comics in the house. What up, Robbie? What's up, chat station? Hell yeah. Twitch says, Disney is trying to find where they can cut costs to offset the losses from COVID, and Florida's situation isn't helping matters. Joseph's in the house. I hope they bring Wyatt Wingfoot into Bone She-Hulk. That would be cool, actually, to have Wyatt Wingfoot in there. That would be neat. Would be neat. I would be 100% down for Wyatt Wingfoot. That's another connection to the Fantastic Four. He winds up being one of Johnny Storm's best friends, and I think that he is a severely underutilized Marvel Comics character. Evil Face Bad says, it made me want to do a green chick. Hell yeah. Yes, Billy, I've been back to work since Tuesday. Hey, Jim Mintz in the house. What is up? Says, yo, been a minute since I caught a live. Hope all is well. All is great, Jim. Thank you for joining in. How are you doing, bruh? Didn't get to check out your live earlier today. I regret that because I love watching you and Fee live on Sunday mornings. Tom, what's up? What's up, Adam? Hey, what's up, Marwak? Just saw rumors about a Mexican Namor, not Atlantean. Honestly, what does an Atlantean look like ethnically? I don't think we really know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always thought Daniel Day Kim would do a good Namor. But it doesn't mean that I think Namor looks necessarily Asian. But Namor's Atlantean, so, like, that's wide the fuck open, whatever the fuck they look like. Jim Mint says, I mentioned you for something, don't remember now. I almost wore my Springfield Isotopes shirt. It was hilarious, y'all. So I'm watching Jim Mint, and he's wearing a Springfield Isotope shirt, and he's got a red shirt, and I got a gray one, the same shirt. And I was like, holy fuck, I got that shirt. I should comment that I have that shirt. So I commented that I had the shirt, and then I'm watching the rest of the video, and at some point in the video, Jim Mint mentions, I'm wearing my Rockin Robbie type shirt. And I'm like, that's so fucking funny, because I literally have that shirt. So there you go. Go Topes. Go Topaz. What the? I don't even know what you're talking about, bruh. You okay? How much you smoking? Expect Rita to be in She-Hulk as Jessica Jones. That's cool. I think that will work. He's supposed to be mixed, Mexican and Atlantean. Oh, so then like so let's see. Cuz kind of a it's kind of like an Aquaman type situation. So I guess I don't remember Namor's origin. Is his father human or is his mother human? One of them is human. And one is like he's a half Atlantean, half human anyway. That's why he's a mutant, right? So he's got that. And in fact, I think he had that origin before Aquaman did. That came later. That's Silver Age Aquaman. The original Aquaman origin is that his father was like doing experiments and trying to make an amphibious human. It's wild. It's like wild. Isotopes. Oh yeah, go Topes. The apostrophe fucked me up, man. My bad. I was like Topaz. What is Topaz? What is that? It's some random historical reference I don't understand. Eddie says, set a reminder for the stream. It didn't remind me. Here now. Well, thank you for being here, Eddie. For the most part, we're here every Sunday night at this time, so it does suck when the reminders don't work. You can't ever trust YouTube, y'all. Trust me. Aztec and Atlantean. That's cool. They could throw it back to Are they going to like tie in together the Atlantean and the Aztec? Because there is the probability that a lot of what they were talking about when they were talking about Atlantis in the old days was in fact actually maybe the New World. Father is human. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. Father is a human sea captain. There you go. Yeah, I get my DC books early. I do a DC sneak peek. I'll be talking about the DC books later. I just read them. I read my DC books pretty much every Sunday. I try to read some of the Image books early if I can. We get all the books early now, but we don't open all the Diamond and Penguin boxes usually until Monday because they don't come in all at the same time. So we wait till they all arrive, which is usually Monday or Tuesday. But yeah, DC we get early. Bottom of the fifth, 0-0, New York and Chicago. Man, New York has been fucking on point. I'm going to tell you. But yeah, DC had some good books this week, Jim. In particular, of course, Swamp Thing and Beyond the White Knight. I mean, you can't go wrong with Rom V, and you can't go wrong with fucking Sean Murphy. Bueller was in MegaCon this weekend, as well as like tons of people. Hialeah was there, fucking Comic Tom was there, and of course Rom was there, so Bueller had to send me a photo of him and Rom, so I'm super jelly. But it's okay. Heroes Con is going to be fucking awesome. Cannot wait. How excited are you to see the new Thor movie? Well, Tom, I'm actually pretty excited for it. I like Taika Waititi. And I thought Ragnarok, at first I didn't really like it. In fact, we've done 2 Thor Ragnarok reviews here on the channel. So you can watch my initial response, like the night that we watched it. I didn't necessarily have a good reaction. But then when we redid it, when we did this whole MCU watch through leading up to Infinity War or some shit. And I liked it and appreciated it a lot more. So I'm rather excited. I really like the Jason Aaron, Jane Foster Thor run with Russell Dodderman mostly on the artwork. I really like that run. I think it stands up with Kirby, DeFalco, and Simonson. I think it stands up on up there as in the like top 5 runs of Thor. So I'm excited to check it out. Two Gun Pedro says, blame Fable for the reason I'm late to the stream. Yeah, me too. I was a few minutes late. And then I was like, I ain't going to wait 20 minutes. I know he says he's going to do 5 more minutes, but I can't. Come on, man. All right, let's get into the first bit. The first bit is going to be the first 5. We, of course, have honorably, nobly inherited this from the Coffee and Comics show in the morning, so it's time for the first 5, everybody. Get ready. So we're going through my Blu-ray collection. We're in the R's right now, and with where we left off, next up, Reservoir Dogs. You know I love me some Quentin Tarantino. We're going to do top 5 2003 movies. We may be talking about some Tarantino later on, but Reservoir Dogs, Tarantino's first movie written and directed. I loved it. Then we got Return of the Living Dead. I have this really nifty steel book, but it's just an extra regular ass. It's just the regular Blu-ray. It's not the Scream Factory. That one's a little bit more rare. It's like $80 to $100 right now, so I don't have that. I would like to have that, but I do have this badass steelbook. So there's that. Of course, there's 5 of these fuckers, and 4 and 5 I've never seen. One of them's about like a rave. It's called like Rave to the Grave. Maybe I should check that out, but I have the trilogy at least. So I got Return of the Living Dead Part 2, and the Vestron release of Return of the Living Dead Part 3 with slip, of course. They all come with slips. So I got what we call the Return of the Living Dead trilogy, and we did cover that on Dylan's Horror Show last July, so you should definitely check that out. And then Return of the Vampire. Bela Lugosi only ever played Dracula 2 times on screen, and that was the original Dracula from 1931. It is 1, right? Is it 2? It's 1. Yeah, let's just go with 1. But then in Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. But this one is kind of like a wannabe sequel to Dracula, but it's interesting. And I think if correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is kind of like a talky remake of London After Midnight. But I love these old school films. So there you go. And that is your first 5, everybody. All right. Back to the chat. Chacos26 says DC versus Vampire sucks. Okay. Some might say. Just stick around for the DC sneak peek. Twitch says Ragnarok was overly humorous, but it also had some of the darkest material before Infinity War. Yadi Molina get to pitch. Hell yeah. Mars Comics says, hello, Robbie. Hello, everyone. Station Mars. How are you doing? 62 Lefty Blue says, you can never hear Stuck in the Middle with You the same again. You are right about that, my friend. Stuck in the Middle with You. That is a great scene. The cop torture scene, basically, by Mr. Blonde in Reservoir Dogs. I fucking love that movie. The soundtrack, the way that Quentin Tarantino uses and utilizes, I should say, music in his films are amazing. We did a Tarantino podcast a couple years ago. It's on YouTube. It's on popculturephilosophers.com. It's on all that shit. So you should definitely check that out. I bet my top 5 has changed. My top 5s change often. Evil Face Bad says, Reservoir Dogs taught me how to cut somebody's ear off and dance at the same time. And Night of the Living Dead always had some cool artwork covers. All hail. Oh, okay. Don't hail me. Let's hail comics and pop culture, right? Well, thank you so much, man. William says it is a remake of London After Midnight. Hell yeah. One of those films that I wish wasn't lost. I would love to see that film. I've seen the version, TCM did it years ago, where they don't have, I don't think they had any video. It was all just images, right? But they like put together through images like a shitty, like the closest we'll ever get so far. But man, that is a lost film that does not need to be super unlost. But I'll tell you this, there were lost films that were found, but God, if we get to the end of existence or whatever, and I would just want to fucking, if we could ever get to a place where we get any question answered, or we get to see anything or know anything, like say like when at the end of history, at the end of this universe, and we're all like one spirit or something, maybe we get to, I don't know, fucking experience the universe again. All I want to do is I just want to watch London After Midnight, man. I just really want to see that fucking film. And watch me watch it, be like, meh, it's a little slow in the third act. What's up, Ace? Yo, station everybody. Robbie, have you read the Incal, and what do you reckon on Taika Waititi developing the movie? I have not read the Incal. I do want to. I have never really gotten much into Mobius, so I want to, but it's hard to track down. That being said, Brian let me borrow his copy of The Long Tomorrow, and I haven't read it yet, but I plan on reading that this week, and I do want to get the Incal and check that out. But I've never gotten into any of that stuff, and I really want to, though. Joe Slag says, I did watch the first 8 minutes of Stranger Things. It was cool. Okay, I'm very excited. Did you hear about some of those episode running times? Like, one of them's like over, 2 hours? Like, what the fuck are they doing? Hell yeah. Fable's in the house. We got Big Herm in the house. Looks like the Blame Fable show finally ended. No kid, man. I gave you a few minutes. I was like, Fable's, it's going to take a minute. I'm just going to, we'll just wait. I was going to wait, and then I was like, nah, we'll just go ahead and start. You didn't miss anything, bro. We talked a lot about She-Hulk a little bit. I shouted out your show. Good job. Great show, by the way. Station. Do. Yeah, this is Mars Comics is different than Mars That Comic Girl, I believe. Hey, we got Joe Corallo in the house. I'd love to watch some of those lost Doctor Who episodes from the Patrick Troughton era myself. Well, Joe, you once again proved how much of an incredible nerd you are, so thank you for that. Yeah, I was like, Joe's got a short story in an upcoming Archie horror book. It's like what Jinx's Grim Fairy Tales or something like that. And like Mags has got a story in there, and some other people I'm not familiar with, but Joe's got one in there. And I was reading the interview, and Joe's like, oh man, I was reading this Golden Age fucking Archie shit. And I was like, I know this crazy ass motherfucker was. He's writing like an Archie short story, and he's going to read like fucking some Golden Age Archie to fucking research it. That's why Joe Corallo is the shit. Thank you for being here, bro. 62 Lefty Blues talking about the Incal says, I'll believe it when I see it. Jardowski. How do you say Jardowski? Getting films is made is almost as bad as Terry Gilliam getting Don Quixote made. Okay, yeah, you're right. That's the movie no one can ever make. Have you ever seen the movie Time Masters? That's a great animated movie designed by Mobius. No, Joe, I haven't seen that one. I'll have to check that out. Let me write that down. Time Masters. Mobius designed movie. Thank you, Joe, for that. We'll check it out. William says, I'd rather watch the lost Japanese King Kong film. Mike says, nice Barry Windsor Smith X-Men cover behind you, Robbie. Love that era of X-Men. Yeah, I got some stuff for show and tell, too. Like, I never thought I would ever try to put together any kind of run of X-Men, but trust me, some of my recent purchases, it's going to get to a point where I'm like, I might as well put together a fucking X-Men run. I'm going to have to pick the years to the year. You know what I'm saying? Of course, Big Herm. And I loved your rendition of the do 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 do. You know, every so often someone is like, love your show, bro. I hate that fucking song. And whenever I talk about changing, everybody's like, don't change the fucking song. I was like, Somebody keeps calling it circus music, and I get what they're saying. I do kind of want to change. Maybe it is time for a change. By the way, if you got to embrace change sometimes. And if you're not, if you're nostalgic for that song, if it goes away, just type in Robbie Rant's theme on YouTube, and you can hear the entire song, not just the bit that's clipped out, but the whole song that I composed. So there you go. Well, thank you so much, Sleepy Reader. Is it Voyager or is it Pioneer? I thought this was the Pioneer. Maybe it's the Voyager. But thank you, Sleepy Reader. Appreciate that. Lost Troughton stories are animated now, says William. Maybe we need an animated London After Midnight. Let's do that. Somebody should let Sam Raimi remake London After Midnight. What's up, Perry? How are you doing, bruh? Joe says, I know a lot of them are animated, but it's just not the same, I agree. I get you. I know this isn't the place for this, but I miss Coffee and Comics with Bueller and Bob. Yeah, I listen to your... Yeah, I miss it too. First of all, of course, we miss Sam. And I do miss that show. It was a show I listened to every Monday morning. That being said, what replaced it was the Cartoonist Kayfabe Courtroom, which they just stopped fucking doing in the middle of the goddamn Wolfman shit. And I was like, what the fuck, man? I was so goddamn engaged every fucking week with that shit. I loved it. I loved Kayfabe Courtroom. What the fuck happened to it? Ed, Jim, what the fuck? Trust me, we loved it. Bring it back, please. 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 I loved it. Oh my God. You seen that new Evil Dead video game? It's a brutal and fun. It's so authentic. Fans of the Evil Dead franchise would love it. No, I haven't. I don't have any modern consoles, so I would probably never play it, but it's cool to hear that there's a good one out there. That's cool. I remember trying to play, what was it, Hail to the King or something? Was it PlayStation or Dreamcast, some shit like that? Big Herm says, don't change the song. Mars says that effing song is awesome. Did Barry Windsor Smith draw the interior? Yes, he did. This is a cool one. This is so this was like one of those filed away, I think, filler issues, but I mean, Marvel used to know how to do a filler issue, but yeah, it's not just drawn by Barry Windsor Smith, it's colored by Barry Windsor Smith too. And obviously it's got some proto Weapon X type visual ideas represented in there. So I haven't read this in years. I just recently picked this up again. But yeah, I am very excited. So it's written by Chris Claremont, Barry Windsor Smith artwork. Hell yeah. They covered it on Cartoonist Kayfabe recently. And it's also reprinted in the Weapon X Gallery edition, which I have. I picked that up. And it's gorgeous. Oh my God. In fact, I've been clipping out the Marvel in the 90s, Marvel in the 80s bits, putting them on YouTube. I took a break doing that. I'm about to start that back up, and the next one is the Weapon X one. And I'm like, I wish I should redo that, because I don't have, I have the better version of it now. With the better coloring, I should say. Joe says, change the song to Comic Tropes old song since he doesn't use it anymore. It's fair game. Is it? What's his old song? I don't know. I really like his channel. I watched one of his videos today. Somebody popped in on Facebook, on our Facebook page, and I didn't respond to it, but somebody had recommended, because I'm doing a bit tonight for Marvel in the 80s, following up the Spider-Man Wolverine from last week. I'm doing the Web of Spider-Man, and he recommended a Comics Trope video about Hobgoblin, and I watched it, and I didn't know fucking any of that shit about Priest and DeFalco and Stern and all that fucking contention going on behind the scenes in Spider-Man. I didn't know fucking any of that shit at the time, or ever, to be honest. And at the time, when I was reading it, and the Web of Spider-Man 29 that we're going to cover tonight is the copy I had when I was a fucking kid, I was just transfixed with fucking Gang War and the Rose and Hobgoblin. I didn't know shit about what was going on behind the scenes, obviously, because this is 87, 88? I'm 70 years old. Joram says, I'm always jamming the Rockin Robbie tune in my head when I'm taking care of business. What does that mean? When you're taking a shit? Trade Paper Dad says, I can't decide which book to have Jim Lee sign, Punisher War Journal 6 or X-Men number 1. He's probably signed more X-Men number 1s, but he's probably signed a lot of Punisher War Journals too. So think about that. Think about what would be something to get him. But here's the thing. What's your favorite? If I met Jim Lee, X-Men number 1's getting signed. My Gatefold one, it's getting signed. But I would also get a Fantastic Four number 1 sign. If I met Jim Lee, I think it would probably be a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I'd probably try to get at least 3 things signed. We'll see. Got 2 from Kevin Eastman. Jim Lee might be the same price or a little bit more expensive. So I'd probably try to get 2 or 3. For me, X-Men number 1 would be easy, but Fantastic Four number 1 that he did, just because it's Fantastic Four. Anybody I meet that's done work on Fantastic Four, I get them to sign their Fantastic Four work. Mike says, I'm a metalhead, but I still dig that music for Rob. Don't change it. Hell yeah. Big Herm says, bring back the Hellboy song. We've done it again, It all depends on the super chats. By the way, we are still raising money, of course, for the Rockin Robbie Live Tour. Not Rockin Robbie Live Tour, but the Robbie Tour. The Rockin Robbie Tour is taking a stop at the Heroes Con convention in about a month. And until the end of this month, all super chats will be given to us right before that show. So they could be very beneficial. And I am in a singing mood a little bit. Sleepy Reader says, you are right, it is the plaque from Pioneer. Looked it up. I get what you're saying, though. It's easy to get it mixed up. Regardless, Carl Sagan. It's all about Carl Sagan. Hail Sagan, right? Hey, Bobby De La Ghetto's in the house. Bobby killed it with the intro to the Blame Fable show tonight. Joe said, I did get the Amazing Spider-Man 9/11 issue again, one of the best Spidey books. I sold mine a long time ago. That's volume 2, number 32, I think. The black cover. I just hated the bit where Doom shows up and he's shedding a fucking tear. I don't think Doom would do that. I think Victor would be like, something like this was bound to happen or some shit like that. But I get it. Priest was a total douche in the 80s. Yeah, he doesn't really like talking about it, but from what I can gather, and he recognizes that. Joe says, I got my X-Men number 1 signed by Jim Lee. Hell yeah. Chaos is in the house. I was getting laid when I was 7, nerd. Sure, Chris. Sure. Have Lee signed. Just imagine Stan Lee and Jim Lee did Wonder Woman. Yeah, I have all those issues. Maybe I should. That'd be fun. Though. Hey, there it is. It's Mark McGrath. That's what it is. Thank you, Mark. I saw your post earlier, and I did watch that video, so it definitely informed the video tonight. Mike says, I need my X-Men number 1 signed by Jim Lee. The Chris Claremont signature on it has been awful lonely for 30 fucking years. So I didn't have Chris Claremont sign my X-Men number 1. I had Chris sign some Fantastic Four stuff, I had Chris sign God Loves, Man Kills, my copy of that. I had Chris sign... Did I have him sign my Dark Phoenix book? And I had him sign an X-Men Forever annual that he did with Mike Grell, because Mike Grell was there as well. So... Chaos says, currently watching this and drying a naked baby. All right, it's time to talk about comics some more. It's time to talk about our favorite comic books of last week. Out of everything that came out, what did you read? What did you dig? In fact, what was your pick of the week? My pick of the week was The Shaolin Cowboy, Cruel to Be Kin, issue number 1 by Jeff Darrow. Written, illustrated by Jeff Darrow. Artwork by Jeff Darrow. Of course, I just said illustrated. But coloring by Dave Stewart. Lettering by Nate Picos. Incredible detail. Insane concepts. Ridiculous humor. Ridiculous action. Characters. Situations. That's what we come to know and love from The Shaolin Cowboy. From the work of Jeff Darrow. Jeff Darrow, of course, was the artist of Hard Boiled, Big Guy, and Rusty, and a worker in cinema, including the Matrix films, and he has work in the Matrix comics. Artwork is great. Story is great, too. Even if you've never read a Shaolin Cowboy book, you could just jump in here. This is the 3rd volume from Dark Horse. There is the original 7-issue series from Burly Man. They are all available now in 3 trade paperbacks from Dark Horse. You can get those. It's not necessary. You can jump right into this absurd world of the Shaolin Cowboy. East meets West. He is a disgraced monk, in a way, kicked out of the monastery, out there wandering the wilderness, coming across every random thing, including fights with giant lizards, giant floating jellyfish. This book is wild. It is ridiculous. It is textured. It is detailed. Jeff Darrow is an influence on people like Frank Quitely. He's an influence on people like Nick Patera. He is absolutely a magnificent artist, and I cannot tell you or explain fully how excited I am for him to be returning to Shaolin Cowboy. We got 7 issues coming. They are all done. This book is wild. I'm showing you every page because I really need to get this across, that this book is levels above, and if you've never read a Jeff Darrow book, you need to. Will the story change your life? No. But the experience of the artwork just fucking might. Shaolin Cowboys, one of the best books that hardly anybody talks about. Luckily, we're talking about it here. Luckily, Ed and Jim talk about it on Cartoonist Kayfabe. They have Jeff on there a lot. They just recently had Jeff Darrow on talking about the 6th volume of Akira, and it was awesome. You should definitely check that out. I want to know, what do y'all think about Shaolin Cowboy? Did you read the new issue? Are you a fan of the whole series? What did you think? And what was your favorite comic book of last week? What was your pick of the week? So let's see what people are saying. People are talking about Chris Claremont signatures. I did get the Hoko cover Wildcats signed by Jim Lee. Oh, Wildcats number 1 would be a good one to get him signed too. Chaos says, my pick, Shaolin Cowboy or New Mutants 25. Aggressively Relaxing Station says, people keep saying this book is great. I'm going to get it. Sleepy Reader says, Shaolin Cowboy. Hell yeah. Mike says, I got that Claremont signature when he was signing when X-Men number 1 came out in 91. I was in California in the Army. It was the first comic I had ever had signed. Hell yeah, that's a great story, Mike. Thanks for sharing. William says, Claremont has signed my Avengers Annual 10. That's first appearance of Rogue. X-Men Teen Titans Team Up and Marvel Team Up 79. What's Team Up 79? I'm blanking. 62 Lefty Blue says, Crazy Food Truck Volume 1. It's a manga, my bad. And enjoying Count Crowley. Hell yeah. I read the first volume of that. Chaos says, New Masters is in the mix too. I was liking it, but there was something that wasn't capturing me. But I did like some of the ideas and concepts. So I may have to, I think I'll probably read the trade when it comes out. See how it coalesces. Shaolin Cowboy or Orphan and the Five Beasts. I haven't read all of Orphan and the Five Beasts. But I do have them, so I want to read them. I love the work of James Stokoe. He is another artist that you could put in that Patera, Quitely, Darrow kind of thing. And of course, Jeff Darrow was a friend of Mobius, Jean Giraud, so he's got an influence there too. And obviously an artist that influenced Frank Miller. Frank Miller's worked with Jeff. There you go. Trade Paper Dad says, I'm going to have Jim Lee sign 3 books. Punisher War Journal 6, X-Men #1, the fold-out edition, hell yeah. And Punisher Armory #1 with the Stan Lee. You have Stan Lee sign Punisher Armory #1? That's fucking gangster. That's fucking awesome. I love that. That's amazing. Power Rangers was Andros from Power Rangers in Space, Fantastic Four, and Venom, Lethal Protector 2. Hell yeah, Joe. Y'all, everybody was like, are you okay, Robbie? I know you had COVID, but like, you liking Marvel books this week. Yeah, Marvel still does good books. I love comics, y'all. I get harsh on Marvel sometimes because I expect more out of Marvel than I do some other publishers. I know what Marvel is capable of. I know the resources they have at their disposal, and that's why I don't let Marvel slide as much as I would some other smaller publishers. As a whole, that being said, I want good stories. So when Image, some books I like, some books I don't, that's not on Image necessarily, because those books are like creator owned. They're like their own thing. That's like that in a lot of other smaller publishers, right? But Marvel needs to have a cohesive vision. DC, they have the resources. That's why I'm a little bit more harsh on them. But I'll tell you what, I still enjoy Marvel Comics and in DC Comics as well. Shaolin Cowboy. Mike says that art is fucking awesome. Darrow's an amazing artist and a fellow Iowan. Hell yeah. Sleepy Reader 666 Damien says every panel of Shaolin Cowboy is master illustration and a crazy visual gag at the same time. Yeah. Manny says, Shaolin was great. My favorite read was a backlogged one. We only kill each other. Two Gun Pedro, shout out Manny. What's up, my man? Taki is going to roll with Duo. I thought Duo was pretty decent. William says, Spidey and Red Sonja. Chaos says, Damien loves it here, but talks crap about the colors on Twitter. I'll tell you this. I love Dave Stewart as a colorist. Okay, so like, for instance, if you look at the original coloring on Hard Boiled, I really like that coloring, and it's recolored by Jeff Darrow, and I like it, but it does kind of produce that more like orangey, browny, like muddy kind of look overall, but it's apparently the way Jeff Darrow wants his work to be colored. So, there you go. That being said, I wish it could pop more, but with so much detail in there, I don't know how the fuck to color it. Because honestly, the coloring in Hard Boiled, the original coloring, so much of it is just like, fuck it, I'll just make all this purple. And like Dave Stewart's at least putting the detail in everything, and I think that's what Darrow wanted more. And it does have kind of like a tone to it, but it is a little bit more like that brownish orangey color, you know, that you get in a lot of modern comics coloring in like the 90s and early 2000s in particular. Trade Paper Dad says, hell yeah, I got Armory #1 signed by Stan the Man. Rest in peace. I later had John Berthal sign it as well. It's my favorite cover. Hell yeah. GT Key Comics says, no offense, story-wise, Marvel books are all or more or less PG-13. Best example, Marvel Aliens. Damien and Chris are having a little beef right here. I always have to complain about something. I still loved it. I get what you're saying on the coloring. I like it. It's not like, I like the coloring here better than the coloring on, say, Hard Boiled, because here to me, like, there is distinct, like, differences between the foreground and the background, and it does make things pop. So I think Dave Stewart, as this progresses, is getting better at coloring Jeff Darrow. Can you just imagine the daunting ass task it is to color that line work? There's so many things you can do, and to be honest, Dave Stewart's being rather restrained, but it's a more detailed, textured coloring than you get on his work on, say, Hellboy. But actually, I don't mind the coloring here because there's plenty of cools to kind of bounce it off when I really kind of looked at it again, more so than some of the others. Has Darrow ever drawn The Thing? Oh, Damien has no idea. Me neither. I would fucking love him to have drawn The Thing. I know he hasn't drawn too much Marvel work, right? He did like, what was the Daredevil? He did like a Daredevil thing, right? But like, it looks different. Like did Frank ink it? No, he inked Frank, right? Is that what happened? He inked Frank. Was that a Daredevil Punisher thing or something? Someone help me out there. I don't know if I've read that. Mark McGrath says, seeing Shaolin Cowboy this week made me wish we were getting more Doc Frankenstein as well. Love those Burly Man books. I never read that one. Damien says, Darrow is probably the hardest coloring assignment. That being said, I would like to get a hold of copies of the original coloring on Hardboiled to kind of have both. I would like it. You know, Dark Horse, if you want to make a little bit more money, Jeff, you want to make it, Frank, if y'all want to make a little bit more, just a little bit more royalties, put out an edition of Hardboiled with the original coloring and the new coloring. But Jeff Darrow famously hates the original coloring, so I don't know if he would let that dig happen. But I would fucking love that. He did draw some Deadpool covers. Holy shit. Deadpool? God damn. What a waste. All right, it's time to look at what's coming up in shops this week. As we go through the list, think about what excites you. We got Saga, issue 59, Detective Comics 1060, Moon Knight number 11, Action Comics 1043, Amazing Spider-Man number 2, Hulk number 7, continuing the Banner of War story, which didn't like the first chapter, loved the second chapter, honestly. Made my top 5. Avengers 56, Something is Killing the Children 23, Department of Truth 18, Beyond the White Knight, Batman number 3, Punisher number 3, Devil's Reign number 1, Omega number 1, Swamp Thing 13, Deathstroke Incorporated number 9, Monstrous number 40, Harley Quinn number 15, Legion of X number 1, Gunslinger Spawn number 8, TMNT 129, Task Force Z number 8, Robin 14, Teen Titans Academy 15, DC vs. Vampires Hunters number 1, it's one shot, Spider-Man 2099 Exodus number 1, Ice Cream Man number 30, Captain Carter number 3, Savage Spider-Man number 3, Radiant Red number 3, Stillwater 13, Rogue Sun number 4, Newburn number 7, Batman Fortress number 1, Aquaman number 4, Bloodstained Teeth number 2, Godzilla vs. the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 3, Image number 2, Adventure Man number 9, Philadelphia 22, Last Book You'll Ever Read number 8, Power Rangers Universe 6, The Rush 6, Transformers Beast Wars 16, Red Sonja 9, All New Firefly number 4, Fox and Hare number 1, a new one from Vault, Aerosmith Behind Enemy Lines 5, almost said 50, Triskele number 1 from Scout, British Paranormal Society Time Out of Mind number 2, Hellcop number 7, The Vampire Slayer number 2, Grim Fairy Tales 60, Hellboy and the BPRD Night of the Cyclops number 1, Transformers War's End number 4, Unnatural Blue Blood number 1, Spectro number 1 from Aftershock, Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, number 6. Harbinger, number 8. Magic, the Hidden Planeswalker, number 2. Naughty List, number 2. Usagi Yojimbo, Lone Goat and Kid, number 5. Zombies vs. Robots Classic, number 3. Elvira in Horrorland, number 1. Land of the Living Gods, 4. Follow Me in the Darkness, 4. The Collector, Unit 731, number 2. Shadow Service, number 12. Pearl, Volume 3, number 1. The Killer, Affairs of the State, number 4. The Recount, Preamble, number 1. Willy's Wonderland, Prequel, number 4. Lady Death, Sacrificial Annihilation, number 1. My Little Pony, number 1. John Carter of Mars, number 2. Rise of Dracula, number 6. This is a big week. Dark Interlude, number 4. Disturbed, Dark Messiah, number 1. Van Helsing, Bloodborne, number 1. Three Stooges, Play Ball, number 1. Samurai 2.0, number 1. Star Wars, number 2. Oh my goodness. And yes, let's just wrap it up there. What am I most looking forward to? Dark Interlude, 100%. Ice Cream Man 100%, and Swamp Thing. Very much looking forward to that. What are you looking forward to coming up in shops this week? Let us know as we take a break. We'll be right back here on Rockin' Robbie when we return the DC Sneak Peek. We'll be talking about everything, everywhere, all at once, and Marvel in the 80s. Station. Pop, pop, boom.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just give me up. To my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math. When I hate, I attack. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just give me up. Don't be scared.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Rockin Robbie Live here on Pop Culture Philosophers. I am your host, Rockin Robbie Billups. How is everybody doing? Station pop pop boom. We're having a great grand old time here tonight on the show where we gather on Sunday evening to talk about comic books, movies, pop culture, and a whole lot more. We've already talked about our favorite comic books of last week. We looked ahead at what was coming up in shops this week. We're about to be doing the DC sneak peek. DC Comics has books this week. I read them. I'm going to let you know what I thought about them. We're going to be talking about the movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, starring Michelle Yeoh. Wow, I cannot wait to talk about that movie. And we'll be doing a Marvel in the 80s bit on a Web of Spider-Man issue by Jim Owsley, Christopher Priest, during the time when he was actively fucking over Tom DeFalco, apparently. So we're going to have a grand old show. We've already been having a great time. When we last left you before the break, I asked you, what comic books were you most looking forward to this week? I said Dark Interlude, Ice Cream Man, and Swamp Thing. So we're going to see what everybody says. But first, I will say, join the PCP Army, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, so is Pop Culture Philosophers. Follow us. We're also on Instagram, where I do my Wednesday show, Comics and Karaoke. That will be returning this Wednesday. I think I'll be able to sing a song. I feel like singing right now. You never know. If you want to see me sing, support us over at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine fellow patrons right there, or with Super Chat. You might see me sing because I am in the fucking mood. We are trying to save up money right now for the Rockin Robbie 2022 tour. So all help is appreciated, but all the support we need is you being here, participating in the chat, liking, sharing, subscribing, because even though we have a grandiose plan, this show is driven, fueled, if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, your comments, and concerns. And by the way, if you're on Twitter, you can follow me at the Rockin Robbie, coming up here on the channel. Tomorrow night is PCP Movie Night at 8 p.m. Central Time. We're talking about Dead Man, a really great film. This is Crew's Choice time of the year. Brooks picked this one, and I'm proud of him. And then Saturday night over at Dylan's Horror Show, we're talking about The New York Ripper, an Italian horror film from Lucio Fulci. We're going to try to break Steph on Saturday night. How's everybody doing? Nick from Comic Culture says, gently smash that like button. All right, so we last left you and said, what comics are you looking forward to coming out this week? Let's see what people says. Dominic says, I don't know if Darrow ever drew The Thing, but we're about to get a clobber in time with Steve Skroce drawing The Thing, and Hulk looks awesome. Yeah, I'm excited for that. It did get delayed out a little bit, though. So it's not coming out as soon as we wanted it to. Chaos says, Dark Interlude. Tomorrow Cinema says Swamp Thing, but the rush has been solid. Interested in Legion of X. Inja Binja's in the house. Hey, great show on Blame Fable tonight. She says, yes, Ice Cream Man. Hell yeah. Fable's smoking some weed up in the bit. Taki says, all tied up for me between Radiant Red and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Chaos and Comics want to know if NFX was Eminem's rap rock band. Maybe. Aggressively Relaxing says, this actually reminds me of my New Year's resolution to make a song with autotune. You should. Oh, that's funny. Mark McGrath says, Moon Knight number 11, Swamp Thing number 13, Batman Beyond the White Knight number 3, New Burn number 7, The Lion and the Eagle number 4. Hell yeah. Really great picks there. Evil Face Bad says, well, I know I'll definitely be picking up Detective Comics and Yojimbo. That rabbit will end a fool's life quick. Yes, he will. You will go on a journey and find your true being in a field of cats and a tuna fish sandwich. Hell yeah, y'all. Oh, thank you for the link droppage, Fable. Pew pew. Caress that like button, everybody. Hit that thumbs up. Let YouTube know that this is the place to be on Sunday nights. It really helps that YouTube algorithm when you stay throughout the show, when you watch our videos to the end, all that shit and more, liking, commenting, all that jam. But do what you will. That's what we're about here at the PCP Army. Do what you will, hurt no others. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. So they say. All right. It's time for the DC sneak peek. First up, Detective Comics 1060. I'm kind of over this Tamaki run on Detective Comics. It started pretty strong and decent, but then it kind of lost me. It's had great artwork for the most part throughout, including Dan Mora, and here we get Ivan Reis back. The artwork is cool, but it's a waste of the talents. The story is rather boring and dull with just a bunch of people talking. The Riddler's doing something that I don't think the Riddler would really do. It feels more like they're just trying to ape on the new Batman film, so it just doesn't quite work for me. So Detective Comics, whack. But we got Action Comics instead with 1043. I liked this issue. I think it's great. I'm really liking what Philip Kennedy Johnson is doing with Action Comics. This story does feel now like it's finally moving into its next part, right? And structurally, I think this is something that will work better as a series of graphic novels or trade paperback collections, if you will. But reading it issue to issue, at times the book does feel like it's kind of running in circles, but now you can definitely pick up that they are moving it forward. They have been moving it forward, just a little bit slow, but this is Superman in space, a la Ridley Scott's Gladiator, and with the Authority, and it actually works. The artwork has a big abrupt change halfway through. That kind of sucked. Then we had DC versus Vampires Hunters. This is a one-shot from Matthew Rosenberg and Googe on the artwork. I'm not digging the DC versus Vampire stuff. It's just not working for me, and I would drop it. But friend of the show, Alex Packnadell, has got some DC work coming up, including a DC versus Vampires kind of spinoff. So I definitely want to at least be tuned in to what's going on in this book to read his stuff, but this is like a side story that happens after the last issue of DC versus Vampires. They revealed who the leader is, and this is Damian's response to that, basically, and it's a little weird, and it doesn't seem to fit in their own rules, so it just didn't do much for me. Deathstroke Incorporated, and let's also go ahead and talk about Robin, issue number 14, because this is chapter 6 and 7, respectively, of the Shadow War saga by Joshua Williamson, and they're pretty solid. I do like this crossover. Crossovers can be annoying, especially when they just feel like money grabs, and obviously we're trying to boost up the numbers on these books, but it's actually Joshua Williamson. These are books that he's all doing, and he's weaving it all in one story between Batman, Robin, and Deathstroke, and I'm digging this story. Basically what's happened is in the first chapter, Ra's al Ghul gets assassinated by someone impersonating Deathstroke. This sparks a war between Talia al Ghul and Deathstroke, and the children get caught up in the midst of it, and I really liked it. Some really nice scenes here, some nice bits, and I think that this is super solid. So I'm excited for those. Then we got Batman Fortress issue number 1. This is a new one. It's from Witta. Is that James Witta? Gary Witta. I am not familiar with this writer. The writing's not the strong suit of this book for me. It's okay. It feels like a classic Batman story, and that's cool. It's a decent enough concept, but it does get bogged down by a verbosity and exposition that just kind of holds the book back. Derek Robertson's artwork, though, is solid. I love Derek Robertson's artwork. He's the artist on The Boys, the artist on Transmetropolitan, the artist on the first arc of Space Bastards. I like his artwork. I love his Batman stuff. He recently did a run on Legends of the Dark Knight. That was solid and cool and felt classic, but it just kind of gets hindered by some of the verbosity in the exposition-y elements of this. There are moments, though, where it does kind of lighten up and it's verbiage, and it does flow a little bit better, but then it just kind of lags down. Not a lot of action. That being said, what's the basic premise? There is a worldwide blackout that happens. How does Batman respond to that? Now, we know that this somehow is going to relate to Superman's Fortress of Solitude. We've been promised in the solicitations that he's going to be using Superman's Fortress of Solitude to figure out what's going on in this, but none of that gets tied in this first issue, so it's also just not really good at delivering the hook on the premise, on the point of the book being called Batman Fortress. So there you go. Let's get to the good shit. Then we get Batman Beyond the White Knight, issue number 3. Sean Murphy could just keep writing Batman stories out of continuity, doing whatever the fuck he wants to do for the rest of my goddamn life, and I would be pleased as shit. Sean Murphy is a master illustrator, and he's becoming quite a master storyteller. Right? Now, that is a part of drawing comics, and he's a pretty solid writer. He's able to give impactful, interesting, compelling scenarios in books like Punk Rock Jesus. He's been doing this for years, and now he's getting to do his own reimagining of the Batman universe. And those of us that are near, I don't know how old Sean Murphy is, but I'm assuming he's probably in his 30s or 40s. He's probably around my age, if I had to guess, but I don't fucking know. But it seems like he's into the same Batman shit that I'm into, that a lot of y'all are into. So the animated series, a lot of references to that, Batman Beyond. The artwork is great. The way he draws architecture and vehicles like nobody else. He's telling a story. In the back here, he explains a little bit of back matter, how he wanted to kind of reclaim Harley Quinn for those old school fans of hers from the animated series. He's done that. He's made me care about Jason Todd. He's made me care about Duke Thomas. He's made me care about this weird alternate version of Gotham that I just fucking love. This is a well-imagined world, incredibly well-written, and expertly fucking drawn. This book is fucking amazing. But even more amazing is The Swamp Thing, issue number 13. This is my DC pick of the week for sure. Mike Perkins, Mike Spicer, and Romvi, and of course Aditya Bidikar, the best of the best in the biz. It's fucking awesome. We're introducing the Parliament of Gears, the factory, the industry, like this new idea, but it's also an indirect result of it is another new idea with this new avatar of like radiation, this new villain being introduced and explored out. We got Jack Hawksmoor in here. If anybody, will probably wind up being the avatar of the factory once they fucking get this shit working together. The Parliament of Gears. There's some interesting ideas. There's some relevant fucking exploration on the human experience, the character of Levi. And then at the end of it, how about we just bring in a special guest star and we let Ron B utilize a character I've been itching to see him do for a long time, y'all. Swamp Thing was so fucking dope. So to recap, Swamp Thing, the DC pick of the week, Beyond the White Knight. Like, let's just, come on, y'all. Let's let Sean Murphy just do this shit forever and ever. Then we got Batman Fortress. It's okay. Deathstroke Incorporated and Robin. Really solid. Just a good, solid comic book crossover that I enjoy. DC versus Vampires, just not working for me. I'm just waiting for Alex. Action Comics was pretty nifty. Detective Comics, pretty weak. And that has been your DC sneak peek. Hey, that rhymed. That was pretty cool. All right. Let's get caught up on the chat. Get caught up on the chat. Chaos says, tell Dylan to start covering comics again. I've been telling him that for a long time, bro. It ain't coming through from me. Trade Paper Dad says, does anyone see the press release about Steve Borak leaving CBCS? Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Nick says, Detective Comics and Rom, we trust. I agree. Twitch says, for those that don't mind digital, IDW has a humble bundle with almost all of their Transformer stuff. There is also a heavy metal bundle with issues of the magazine and some of their comics. Hell yeah. Verbosity, nice. Well, thank you. Where's my vaporizer? Oh, it's right fucking in front of me. Who else is up in here? Yeah, Eric's in the house. What's up? Sean Gordon Murphy is 42. I'm 41. There you go. I figured. Sean has done some excellent conversations over at Comics by Perch. Perch is a great channel, to be honest, and I love Comics by Perch. But that recent interview him and Joe did with Sean Murphy, I think it's one of the best ones they've ever fucking done. Straight up. Eric says, Swamp Thing is a Book of the Year contender again in 2022. Rom continues to do wild things. Hell yeah. Nick says, can't wait for Swamp Thing. Is Swamp Thing Green Hell still coming? I fucking hope so, Damien. I loved that book, but Jesus. Now, I know we keep hearing about the paper shortages and the supply chain issues and all that shit. I know that DC is having problems finding printing availability for their prestige plus size books. So that's why those in particular have been extra late. Rom should do Superman or Burroughs. I said a while ago, Rom v. Dan Mora on Superman, maybe after Philip Kennedy Johnson wraps up his run. Chaos says, I need to catch up on Swamp Thing. I'm a white noise addict, but the superhero stuff hasn't been my favorite. I dig what you're saying. Swamp Thing, though, is different because it is going in those Vertigo roots. So it is more like early Vertigo than modern superhero. Chaos says, I love the original ideas, though. Absolutely all for. Yeah, me too. The only one I haven't met and had on the show is Ryan. Ryan has agreed to be on the show, but I've never reached back out to solidify it because his books are always really late, and I don't want to be a reason why it's not. But now that Dark Interlude's coming back, maybe at the next big announcement for something, I'll get Ryan on the show. But I love Rom, Alex, and Dan, and Ryan, all four of them, friends of the show. And cannot be more excited for, I'll tell you what, too, Dan's work on superheroes, which has been like limited, but right now it's been Azrael and the Arkham City book. Arkham City is a early Vertigo book too. Like it reads that way, and I'm really pumped for what he's going to do. Ryan must just have a different job. Yeah, who knows? I was like, why does this book take so fucking long to come out, man? I hate it because I know that's going to be something I'm going to have to ask him when I get him. Yeah, Chaos likes Arkham City. Yeah, me too. And for those that didn't get into Batman Urban Legends, Dan Waters did an Azrael story in there that's leading into this new miniseries he's doing, Azrael Sword of the Bat again. But that's being collected in a one-shot. So, fuck yeah. Once the future artwork is awesome. Hell yeah, 62. 100%. Waters' Vault book is taking forever too. So is Rom's Radio Apocalypse, and so is fucking Alex's. Because Alex is, we're still waiting on Giga, like issue 5. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, I can reach out to these dudes and ask them, but like, I don't want to do that because I don't know what's going on, and I don't ever want to ask for too much inside baseball. You know what I'm saying? But like, what the fuck is up with White Noise and Vault? Like, those books are super delayed. The Picture of Everything Else would have been the book of the fucking year, but like it only had a couple issues out. Like, what the fuck? Damien says Waters' Cowboy Bebop is surprisingly good. And see, that's the thing. It makes me think that there's something, it's got to be on the Vault side. You could say it's on the artist side, but I don't even know if I want to put it on the artist. I think it has something to do with Vault. But like Rom and Dan and Alex, they have proven that they can work on a deadline, on a schedule, because they do that. Rom's been doing it. Dan's doing it every fucking month at DC. Both of them are doing it, DC and Marvel right now. Alex has got some DC work coming up. He's had Marvel work. So, like, they can put it out. So it's not on them. I don't know what the fuck it is. Have to imagine it's probably a paper issue for Vault. That's a big thing, too. That may be a bigger issue for them than it is for others. Their paper quality has dipped as well. So maybe they're waiting until... Maybe they don't want Giga and Radio Apocalypse and Picture of Everything Else and Dark Interlude 2. Like, maybe they only have access to, like, really high-quality paper. Because I have to look at Dark Interlude when it comes out. But, like, some of the other paper quality, like last book you've ever read, paper quality on that dipped like a fucker. Like, Jesus Christ. And Vault used to be, like, top-notch at quality on paper and everything. But they've dipped down a little bit. They have gotten new investors in. But man, they're not what they were a couple years ago, but they still have that potential. Taki says, it seems like Vault's had some issues. A lot of their books have been later. Blue Flame, Dead Box, last book. Yeah, Dead Box. We've got 2 issues out. Some of my Second Sight pre-ordered books got canceled a week ago. Yeah, Second Sight's going through some rough times, I think, right now, from what I've heard. It's unfortunate. Fable says, it's sad because you put me onto Vault. Vault's still cranking out good work. Yeah, right now, Picture of Everything Else is scheduled for October. We'll see. They have scheduled that thing out so many different times. But man, I really want it to happen. That book is fucking next level. What those dudes are doing at Vault is next fucking level. Giga, Radio Apocalypse, Dark Interlude, and that, like, Wave 2 of White Noise at Vault is fucking awesome. But the way to go for them is going to be something like Image or Boom. Manny Desolé Star, that came out on fucking time, and it was fucking awesome. Homesick Pilots has been coming out every single fucking time. There's, like, they just finished the last issue, and I'm not ready for that series to end. That's been one of my fucking favorites. Dan Waters, Ron V, Alex Packnadell, Ryan O'Sullivan, those are 4 of the greatest fucking writers in comics right now. Add in Dennis Camp. He's not one of the White Noise crew, but Dennis Camp is about to have a fucking tear this year, y'all. His Bloodshot book is going to be better than any Valiant book that you've read in a long time. His fucking new book, 20th Century Men at Image, is going to blow y'all's fucking mind. Trust me. And then Agent of World, of which I've already read half of that series. Holy shit. This is next level stuff about to be coming up from Dennis Camp this year. Y'all just wait and see. Don't sleep on those books. In this order: Agent of World, 20th Century Men, Bloodshot, was it Unleashed? Something like that? I don't know. Fucking get ready for great artwork and amazing concepts. Y'all don't even know yet. Trust me when I say order those books right the fuck now. Agent of World from Scout Comics, 20th Century Men from Image Comics, and I think it's Bloodshot Unleashed, but the Dennis Camp, John Davis Hunt Bloodshot book coming from Valiant. Paper Quality in the house says, sorry, y'all, been on a sabbatical. Hopefully we'll be back soon. 62 Lefty Blue says, I pre-ordered Agent of World. Originally it was going to be called like Agent of Chaos or something like that, and I think Chris fucking sued him, and they had to change the title, and it got postponed a year. But you can check out our conversation with Dennis Camp last year, and he's talking about that book. It's fucking awesome. Dennis Camp's going to be back on soon. So he said he had some more things to announce. Some of those announcements have happened. And hell yeah, Dennis is coming back on the show soon. But I will tell you who the next confirmed guest here is on Pop Culture Philosophers for a Conversation. We're going to be graced with the presence of the writer of King Spawn and The Scorched. Sean Lewis is going to be joining us on the channel in June. I think it's June 16th or something like that. It's Thursday night. We already got it scheduled and planned. Very excited for that. We got other writers and creators in the pipeline right now, but nothing ready to announce. But I will go ahead and announce that Sean Lewis, writer of the upcoming Above Snakes with Hayden Sherman, along with Hayden Sherman, also the writer of Thumbs and The Few, but also the writer of King Spawn and The Scorched, is going to be here. And he reached out to us. So very excited to have Sean Lewis on the channel. That's like, I think it's June 16th or something. Whatever that Thursday is that week. It's going to be a grand old time. I heard that Dr. Manhattan is at the end of the picture of everything else. Chaos says Homesick Pilots is awesome too. Hell yeah. I think Shadow Service 11 came out. Yeah, they probably missed it. Yeah, Barbaric's a great one from Vault. Chaos says, I've been reading King Spawn and Scorch. King Spawn's like one of my favorite Spawn books right now. I fucking love it. I think you can only, if you've only read like the first 10 issues of Spawn, like most people have, you could just jump in and read King Spawn, and it's like you didn't miss fucking anything, man. But it's cool. And I'm really excited to ask Sean what it's like to work with Todd. Because you always get, you hear these stories from people like Brian Wood or Paul Jenkins about how like Todd comes in and changes your fucking script. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that Sean's not going to badmouth Todd or nothing, but I want to know, like, what's that like working with Todd? How much does he do on those books? How much does he change? Like, what's going on? I want to know the process. I really do. But I also love his other work, especially his work with Hayden Sherman, and he's got a new one called Above Snakes coming out. So I'm really, really excited. King Spawn is dope. Haven't been reading Scorch, says Tomorrow. Scorch is getting better issue to issue. I think all the Spawn books are solid right now. I think the weakest of the four is Spawn, to be honest with you. And I think it's because Todd's not doing it. And Todd's not the greatest writer, But like, I like Todd's writing on Spawn. It's exactly what it needs to be. Nick says, random, but I just finished Crimson Cage. Damn, it was great. Yeah, that's a book of the year contender. He fucking nailed that finale. John Lees did, and he also nailed the fucking finale of Hotel Volume 2. Holy shit. Because I was at a point where I was like, Hotel Volume 2 is not as interesting to me as 1. But holy shit, that ending made it all work. A very strong ending. Headlopper is really good. I've only read the first volume, but I do want to read. Do you like King Spawn over Gunslinger? I do. I do like King Spawn over Gunslinger. But it's like King Spawn, Gunslinger, Scorched, Spawn for me, if I had to rank them. Noggin Comics, what's up? Says Gunslinger Spawn has been awesome, but also been loving King Spawn. Agree with Robbie. Spawn is the weakest right now. Chaos says I'm the same on Hotel, but still have the last 2 to read. When you get to that end, I think you'll like the ending. I loved the ending of Hotel Volume 2. Eddie says, just read the Nita Hall's Volume 1 trade and liked it decently. Started Primordial and loving it so far. That's a good one. Mars Comics says Hotel was great. Hell yeah. Oh, White Sox are up 2-0 in the top of the 8th. Fuck the White Sox, man. What was that shit? They said Donaldson had said some racial slur to one of them. What came out of that? I hope he didn't. But being a Yankees fan, I still have that attitude of they hate us because they ain't us. Yankees are on fire, man. Taki says, Nita Hawes was underrated. Just wait. I dropped out of that pretty early. All right, it's time for a movie review. Don't worry, no spoilers for this, but I do want to point you in the direction of this film. I'm sure you've already heard of it. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. You probably heard good things about it. I just want to let you know right now, it is worth it. So we're about to talk about it. It's time for a movie review. So Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is directed by the Daniels. It's Dan Kwan and Daniel Scheinert. They apparently had done another movie that I'm not familiar with. It's something like Swiss Army Knife or something like that, but I'm not familiar with that movie. But this was produced by the Russo brothers. It stars Michelle Yeoh, Stephanie Su, Ken Hai Guan, who is Short Round and Data from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and Goonies, and Jenny Slate, James Hong, Jamie Lee Curtis. This movie's fucking awesome, y'all. I'm going to tell you this straight up. This is an A24 film, science fiction, family drama, comedy, action film. Holy shit. And yes, you're right, William. Could be an Oscar winner for Best Actress. I think this is Michelle Yeoh's best performance. Everybody in this fucking movie is awesome. And his name is, God damn it, I forgot it already. But Short Round. Dude, holy shit. Everybody in this movie fucking slaps, and it works, and it rocks. So basically, Michelle Yeoh is playing this character. Her and her husband run a laundromat. They live right above it. They're immigrants. They got a daughter. She's seeing a woman. Michelle Yeoh's character, Evelyn, just can't quite accept it. She's still kind of begrudgingly tolerative of it. Her dad, played by James Hong, is like, you know, he only speaks like Chinese, and he's like old school and old fashioned, so she's worried about telling him. And there's all this family shit going on. Her husband's asking for a divorce, and they are being audited by the IRS. Jamie Lee Curtis plays an IRS auditor here. And look in the background at her like customer service awards or whatever, and they're like butt plugs. That plays a big factor in this movie, trust me. This movie is absurd and it's ridiculous. But basically what happens is that Michelle Yeoh finds out that there is a multiverse, and throughout the multiverse, there is this entity that is set on destroying the multiverse, and she is the hero that's going to save it. So using a technology from another universe, she is able to send her consciousness into another reality's version of her and download basically their memories And because she's basically occupying the same space as them mentally, she's able to download basically their memories and their skills, whatever skills she may need. She's going to have to use this now to save the multiverse. And it's awesome. So, but even though she's trying to save the multiverse, it's really about her and the family, her daughter, her husband, her father. And so even though this is a wild, rambunctious, funny, action-packed, sci-fi, high-concept movie, at the core, at the heart, it is a family drama about her trying to bring her family together, but actually understanding appreciation, gratitude, and her place in her family. Holy shit. This movie is amazing. It goes into some weird comedic territory. There is a reality where they have hot dog fingers. That shit cracks me up. Like I said, the dude that played Short Round has returned to acting. He's been retired for fucking years. Fucking kills it in this role. Great action scenes from him too. Stephanie Sue, who plays the daughter. Amazing. Great special effects. Really a nuanced story. It is wild. It is rambunctious. It is sci-fi heavy, action-packed, but it is grounded in an emotional core that is completely just 100% anchored by Michelle Yeoh's performance. It is, to me, the best performance I've seen from an actor this year. One of the best movies I've seen this year. I'm giving it 4.5. Ya digs. And I will say this. When I first watched it, I said 4.0. But the more I think about it, it may go up, especially after a rewatch. The more I thought about it, it went up to a 4.5. And I pretty much fucking guarantee that after a revisit, it might go up to a 5. This might be the best movie I've seen all year. Right now, I'm giving the slight edge to X just because that's obviously in my wheelhouse. I've already watched that 2 times. But this is one I'm immediately going to buy on Blu-ray when it releases, and I will definitely be revisiting this one, and I think its appreciation will only grow. It is high-concept sci-fi, amazing choreography on the action, but it is a grounded, rooted family drama about a Chinese immigrant family coming in, having a daughter, and her daughter, what she's going through in this story, represents what this world that millennials, like our children, not millennials, maybe Zoomers, more like Zoomers, like our children. I'm a millennial, right? Very beginning edge of it. But anyway, holy shit, this movie's deeper than even I think I realize right now. So right now I'm going to sit at a 4.5, but I do anticipate that may go up. It's fucking awesome. Have you seen it? What do y'all think about it? What do you got to say? Called him Jackie, as in Jackie Robinson, had to do with Tim Anderson saying he wanted to be today's Jackie Robinson 2 years ago. I don't understand what we're talking about there. I know that I think Jackie Chan was initially offered this role. He turned it down. I think Michelle Yeoh took it. I hear Everything Everywhere is a better multiverse movie than Doctor Strange. Shouldn't compare those 2 films. They're 2 different films doing 2 completely different things with the ideas of the multiverse. But I can see why people would say that. This movie is ridiculously funny. Like, one of the bits is that in order to initiate this leap of consciousness into another reality, you kind of have to do something random and improbable to happen in this universe or something. And some of the bits that happen are fucking ridiculous, y'all. Ridiculous. 62 says, Swiss Army Man has Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe. Yeah, I've heard of that. 62 says it's hilarious. Big Herm sleepy. You need some sleepy sleep? Yes, like Steph says, this is a Dom Toretto family movie classic. It's all about family. Yeah, it's not streaming yet. We went and watched it in the theater. I took Jamie out for her birthday, and I didn't get to see her on her birthday, but the day after I took her out, we went to this Korean barbecue where it's like, it's a little pricey, but like it was awesome. It was like you get to pick food and there's beef and chicken, all this shit. But they bring it to you raw and you cook it there. So it's a Korean barbecue and it's all you can eat. They have all these sides and I was eating all this fucking kimchi and it was fucking great. Then we went and saw this movie. It was a really great night. Came home, listened to some music, drank some beers. But yeah, it's currently still in theaters. 62 Lefty Blues says should be around June 14th when it hits streaming. Steph's been wanting to see it since December. Taki says Rockin Robbie Gen X claims you. Station. Steph says was watching The Northman. Yeah, we were gonna. It was either gonna be Everything Everywhere All at Once or it was gonna be Men. And Jamie picked that Everything because we've been wanting to watch that one since we first saw that trailer. But we do plan on going to see Men soon and then The Northman. Those are the next movies I plan on seeing till the next fucking, I guess Maverick's about to come out. God damn it. I'm going to have to watch that. I want to. God damn it. Do I need to rewatch Top Gun? I don't like Top Gun. Hey, Lost in Comics is in the house. Station, my friend. How are you doing? Met Rob Liefeld, super jelly. Everybody check out Lost in Comics. Somebody throw out a link in the chat. Yeah, there's Yankee Sox beef. They fighting again? John Stout's in the house. Back in the house. You feel the need for speed. Men looks wild. Men looks wild as shit, y'all. Jaime says, AE24 never disappoints. I'm kind of picking up on that vibe. I don't ever like to say that Mike is right, but Mike has been right about them so far. So maybe St. Maud ain't going to be so bad when we get to that on PCP Movie Night. That being said, join us for PCP Movie Night tomorrow night. It's Brooks's Choice, and it's going to be Dead Man, Jim Jarmusch film, starring not only Johnny Damon, but Robert Mitchum, Billy Bob Thornton, Iggy fucking Pop. Fucking so many people in this fucking movie, and a soundtrack by Neil Young. Holy cow. Saturday night, New York Ripper on Dylan's Horror Show. We now pause for station identification. Lost in Comics says, my kind of people in here. Hell yeah, because we're all part of this fucking crazy-ass comic book community, my friend. Y'all check out Lost in Comics if you haven't. It does a great Thursday night show. Has guests on. I think he got the writer of That Texas Blood coming up this week. When I was setting up, Robert Mitchum's last movie appearance is in Dead Man. Holy shit. When I was setting up the conversation with Sean Lewis, he asked me if I recommended anybody for him to check out. I said Lost in Comics. He goes, yeah, those dudes are great. So you must already know Sean. So that's fucking awesome. Yeah, I mean Johnny Depp. What did I say? Did I say Johnny Damon? What the fuck did I say? No, the Jackie thing was the Donald. Oh, what was that? Hold on. Let me go back then. Dun, 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 dun. Called him Jackie as in Jackie Robinson. Okay. Had to do with Tim Anderson saying he wanted to be today's Jackie Robinson. Oh, okay. I got it. Tim Anderson's the dude that... Okay. I didn't know his name. Now I want to cast Billy Bob Thornton in the MCU. Billy Bob Thornton in the MCU. How about Henry Gyrick? How about Billy Bob Thornton as Henry Gyrick? Think about that. Not what we're going to be thinking of. I thought I was just really stoned, but yeah, you said Johnny Damon. Wouldn't that be wild if there was a Western from 95 with Johnny Damon in it? Like a fucking 14-year-old Johnny Damon or some shit. Billy Bob Thornton is Henry Gyrick. I think that would be an interesting fucking guy. And he's wearing the fucking shades and shit. Like the fucking Cool Hand Luke fucking dude shades. God damn. All right, I feel a piss coming on. That means we're going to go to the next bit. It's time for one of my favorite bits. This is a follow-up to last week's Spider-Man vs. Wolverine, but it's time for... Marvel in the 80s. And today we're talking about Web of Spider-Man number 29. Now this issue is written by Jim Owsley, aka Christopher Priest, with artwork, penciling by Steve Geiger, inking by Art Nichols, lettering by Rick Parker, and colors by Bob Sharon. So there you go. So this is kind of a follow-up to the Spider-Man vs. Wolverine one-shot that we talked about last week. And in the one-shot, Ned Leeds died. So let's just go over what happens in this book, and then we'll talk about more outside of this book that I just recently learned, thanks to Mark McGrath pointing me out to a Hobgoblin video by Comics Tropes. So we start at the funeral of Ned Leeds, and we get the credits. So the Rose shows up. This is Richard Fisk, son of the Kingpin. He has been recently revealed to be the Rose, and he shows up because he's been partnered with the Hobgoblin, and we now... There was some weird shit where they were revealing the Hobgoblin was Ned Leeds at this exact same time they killed him, and then they introduced a new Hobgoblin here. It's so weird, but the Rose shows up, and everybody's like, yo, what are you doing here? And he's like, fuck, blah, blah. Right? But he's got this bandage on his head because this follows up the Gang War story, which I'm actually rather fond of because I was reading Spider-Man comics at this time when I was getting into comics. It's my first few years. He's got his friend Alfredo who comes and picks him up. He's like a carefree kind of guy. He's got those Henry Gyrick glasses going on, and he's taking him on, and he references that Ned Leeds was the Hobgoblin. They were working together. That he was feeding him stories. They were setting up Wilson Fisk, and now he's questioning... Since the death of his friend Ned, who was allegedly the Hobgoblin, we find out way later on that's not in fact true, but or it was, but whatever. We'll get into that. But he's questioning everything, right? Now we're cutting to Spider-Man. Not only has Spider-Man just recently gone through this whole gang war thing, not only did Spider-Man just recently suffer the death of a colleague, Ned Leeds, he also killed a woman in Spider-Man vs. Wolverine. Wolverine's lover, Charlie, who Charlemagne, the assassin ex-KGB, had come out of hiding, was being hunted down by all these various spy organizations, and kills herself by allowing her to distract Spider-Man in a moment of passion and heat and fighting, and Spider-Man decks her and kills her. Spider-Man's going through a fucking crisis. He wishes he could talk to someone, maybe Daredevil, but Daredevil's acting like a jerk. Right? And Mary Jane ain't it, but Felicia Hardy's staying at his place. Maybe he'll go chat with her. Then we go back to Robert Kingsley chatting with this other dude. I don't even remember who the fuck he is. Robert Kingsley is the dude that Roger Stern originally wanted to be the Hobgoblin. And in fact, when he did the Hobgoblin Lives miniseries in the 90s, which I remember reading, he revealed that it was always Robert Kingsley, and he set up Ned Leeds, brainwashed him, some shit like that. Whatever. That's all crazy. The Rose's assassins come in, and they're going to take care of them. And it looks like he gets shot in the shoulder, and the other dude comes, kills one of them, and whatever, right? Spider-Man then goes to his home to talk to Felicia Hardy. But she's not there, and he's like, oh, she's so carefree. I wish I could be the same way. This is a very dark era for Spider-Man, y'all. He's like always just like moping around and shit. Cut back to the Rose. Richard Fisk is there. And when I was a kid growing up, man, this was the Spider-Man stuff I was reading for the first time. These were the first Spider-Man books I read. It was this Spider-Man versus Wolverine, this follow-up issue, the gang war, all that shit. I fucking loved the Rose and the Hobgoblin and all that shit. So the Rose is talking. He wishes he was carefree as well. Him and Spider-Man, him and Peter are kind of going through similar things, right? They're both kind of being very emo about the deaths of their recent friend Ned Leeds. That being said then, the Rose comes back home wearing his mask. His two compatriots are dead. And he's like, should have known that was going to happen, but the Hobgoblin shows up. And I remember when I was a kid thinking that he was like a fucking ghost. And how creepy this fucking looked. The artwork was great. So he attacks Richard Fisk. The Hobgoblin's out there killing his associates. He's like, you know what? I should get out while I'm ahead. But Alfredo's still there doing his deed. He's making sure that Hobgoblin, Ned Leeds, didn't have any dirt on Richard Fisk that he was going to find out. And then randomly, here we finally get Wolverine showing up towards the end of the issue. He finds Peter Parker moping. This dude shows up, tries to fucking steal Wolverine's wallet, flashes a knife at him. Wolverine flashes his claws, it breaks into a fight. Spider-Man's like, come on. He's being super mopey and all this kind of stuff, right? Wolverine's just trying to have fun. He's trying to talk to him. He's like, yo, the death of Charlie is not your fault. She wanted to die. The death of Ned Leeds is not your fault. That's the whole kind of point. Spider-Man even tells him at a certain point that he's ready to give it up. And Wolverine, Logan, tells him, you can't give up who you actually fucking are. So you need to come with me because you're still fucking Spider-Man. You need to come with me and get these dudes. And then he's like, you just want to go fight somebody. He's like, yeah, but you got to admit it was a great speech. I always loved that bit when I was a kid. Then we cut back to Alfredo. He's being stalked by the Hobgoblin. What's going to happen there? That's a dope, like, 80s James Bond type car, too. But, like, Timothy Dalton would have driven that, right? Anyway, Wolverine then goes and finds these punks that initially jumped them. He's now in costume, and I always loved that bit. And Spider-Man joins him, and Wolverine's like, hell yeah, you can't deny who you are. Meanwhile, Hobgoblin is still chasing Alfredo, and then you got this fucking fight between these gang members and Wolverine and Spider-Man. Wolverine's trying to inspire Spider-Man. It winds up all kind of coalescing together. They get passed after they beat this gang of people by Alfredo being chased by this new version of the Hobgoblin. Turns out that's Jack-O-Lantern, who has taken the guys after the death of Ned Leeds. We'll get into that in a second. He gets driven, or he rides off the bridge, allegedly dies, or at least the Rose thinks so, because he's hearing them as it's happening, so he's freaking out, but he gets saved by Spider-Man and Wolverine. Wolverine's like, look, kid, chin up. Basically, Spider-Man's like, I'm going through a fucking crisis. Mary Jane, I can't talk to her. I can't talk to Felicia Hardy. I can't talk to Daredevil. Can't talk to anybody. Wolverine's like, chin up, soldier, and just goes. And the Rose is also going through a crisis of faith, leading to the next issue, True Confessions. And that is Spider-Man 29. Web of Spider-Man 29. So there's my original copy right there. I do have this copy that I did pick up, and it's beat to hell and back because this was going to be in the dollar bin. So I picked that up so I would have the direct market edition, because when I was a kid, I always wanted those ones more. But that's the one I had when I was a kid. This is actually in better condition than that one, but that's the one. And I never had issue 30. I have issue 28. I don't have 30. I have the ones before that, but I need to get an issue 30 to see how this wraps up. So basically, what's going on here, I'm going to show you everything, including all the ads here. So Owsley is Christopher Priest. He's 22 years old at the time, and definitely for a more accurate representation of this, check out the Comics Trope video. If anybody can, just type in, like Fable, if you're still here, or Steph, type in on YouTube, Comics Tropes Hobgoblin, find that video, how editors messed up Hobgoblin or whatever, and post that link in the chat, because that video is great. But Christopher Priest is the editor, 22 years old, editing his boss, Tom DeFalco, winds up getting a little bit power hungry. Roger Stern, when he first created Hobgoblin, wanted him to be Robert Kingsley. He never got to actually see that come to fruition. Tom DeFalco came in. He was edited by James Owsley, who is Christopher Priest. And Christopher Priest says he regrets everything, but basically he wanted to piss off Tom DeFalco, maybe just shoving his power around. Tom DeFalco wanted to reveal that Richard Fisk was going to be the Hobgoblin, which would have made sense, actually. God, that image right there always got me. Love that panel. That's a great panel. So is that one right there, actually. So he asked Tom DeFalco, who is Hobgoblin? He told him Ned Leeds, just kind of bullshitting. And so then Jim Owsley, without anybody else knowing, did the Spider-Man vs. Wolverine book, killed Ned Leeds, revealed that he was fucking, like, had Peter David do it or something. There's a lot more to it. Check out that Comics Tropes video. Yeah, Steph just threw it out there. Hell yeah. The reason why I like this was because of the Hobgoblin and Rose connection, but also because it was a follow-up to the Wolverine shit. I read this one first when I was a kid. Love that panel right there with screen tone used. Look at that. Beautiful. That middle panel right there. There's something about 80s classic Wolverine brown and tan. Something about it. But anyway, apparently he wrecked friendships. He fired Tom DeFalco. He killed Ned Leeds. And then brought in Jack-O-Lantern. And then Roger Stern eventually got to come in and kind of no prize at all and say it was Robert Kingsley all along. But that Comics Trope video is really, really cool. Look at that House 2 ad. Fucking love House 2. Anyway, loved this one as a kid. It made me want to go pick up Spider-Man vs. Wolverine. I had already read Gang War. I remember at the same time, around this era, I was reading it was like Kraven's Last Hunt. I remember reading Life in the Mad Dog's Ward or something like that. Gang War, this. And then I kind of dipped out of Spider-Man for a while and came back in during the Mark Bagley era in particular, where it was like Round Robin and shit like that. But that is Spider-Man. That's Web of Spider-Man 29. It is a follow-up to that Spider-Man vs. Wolverine. Loved that cover when I was a kid. Loved the issue. Reading it now, it's actually a pretty well-done issue, to be honest with you. So I'd give it a 4 you digs out of 5. But hearing that backstory is absolutely crazy. And I would definitely encourage everybody afterwards to check out the link that Steph just put up to Comics Trope's video about this, because it's very informative and a lot of shit that I didn't even know. And that has been this week's segment of Marvel in the 80s. All right. John Stout's got to go. Crap, got to go. So everyone have a great night. See you. See you too, bud. 1980s Marvel rules. Early to mid-80s, says GT Key Comics. Taki says Comic Tropes is one of my faves, 100%. Hell yeah. Spider-Man mentions that in the Zdarsky's most recent run, says Rogue Collecting. Hell yeah. What's up, Kenneth? How you doing? Twitch says Ned Leeds' story is wild. Hell yeah, it is. I'm talking about Billy Bob Thornton as Gyrick. Aggressively relaxing says Gyrick casting. I love it. Steph says Gyrick would be fire. Twitch says Billy Bob Thornton is Mephisto. Billy Bob could play a Man-Thing. Billy Bob is the supreme intelligence. Mudfoot 69's in the house. He's late. Had to poop. But you're here now. Just in time for our next break. When we come back, we'll be talking about the latest movie in my Hong Kong cinema journey, led by my Sifu Bullseye Bob. We'll be talking about Ricky O, the story of Ricky, top 5 movies of 2003, show and tell, and more when we get back here on Rockin Robbie Live, y'all. Keep it real.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go,
What's up, everybody? Welcome back here to Rockin Robbie Live on Pop Culture Philosophers. I am your host, Rockin Robbie Billups. Join the PCP Army, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, so is Pop Culture Philosophers. Follow us there. We're also on Instagram, where I do my Wednesday night show at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Excuse me. Comics and Karaoke. That's on Instagram. Follow us there. You can follow me on Twitter at the Rockin Robbie. You can check out podcasts and more at popculturephilosophers.com. The newest episode of the podcast drops tomorrow morning. Comic Book Villains. Me, Hammer Time Holshoe, Jolly Joe Corello, and Dashing Drew Matz. Excuse me, I'm gassy nights, all this beer. I had COVID. I'm over it. I'm feeling better each day. This is the first weekend where I got a little lit, y'all. So I'm having fun. So I guarantee that the next Super Chat sees something that everybody wants to see. Trust me. Okay? Because if you do want to support the channel, you can do so at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP patrons right there, like HC. Man, HC has done so much. We have this microphone right here, the Shure, beautiful microphone to give me clear, beautiful audio. That is because of HC and so many others. Thank you for the support. We really do appreciate it. Patreon.com/PCP. That will unlock a downloadable audio version of the weekly comic book review, available at least an hour and a half to 2 hours before it drops on YouTube. Or you can do so with Super Chat or a Super Thanks. All Super Chats we get till the end of the month will directly go to fund the Heroes Con leg of the Rockin Robbie tour. I plan on buying Doug Wagner a drink, so I'd appreciate the help. But we're going to be at Heroes Con June 24th and 25th. We're going to be at the bar that Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night. It's going to be fun. Meet me and Brian from the Excitable PCP crew. That's going to be fun. Tomorrow night, PCP movie night. It's crew's choice. And Brooks has picked Dead Man. It's a great film. Can't wait to talk about it. And Dylan's Horror Show on Saturday night, The New York Ripper. It's going to be fun. Circumstances says, I will also be at Heroes Con. Let's go. Yeah, let me know. We'll meet up. We'll say what's up, man. PCP meetup. Come on, y'all. Who's going to be at Heroes Con? Sound off. And who wants to buy Doug Wagner a drink? Next Super Chat buys Doug Wagner a drink and gets to unlock something that not only does a lot of people here in the chat want to see right now, but I want to do right now. Y'all know what it is. Come on, y'all. Lost in Comics says, freaking Wi-Fi dropped out when Robbie was talking about Sean Lewis. I missed it. Damn you, Spectrum. I said that Sean Lewis, when I set up an interview with him, a conversation, he asked me who else I would recommend to be, for him to reach out to, and I mentioned y'all, and he said that he loved y'all. So, hell yeah. We still got a great show coming up tonight. We're about to be talking about my latest step on the Hong Kong cinema journey, guided by Seafood Bullseye Bob. We'll be doing top 5 movies of 2003, a little bit of show and tell. 62 Lefty Blue says, I'll see you at the Memphis Comic Con and Expo, or the Memphis Comic Expo in September. God damn, they got a great list too, man. They got a really great lineup there. I can't even talk. Rockin Robbie Tour. Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo already happened. I'll be at Heroes Con next month. Memphis Comic Expo in September. Scarefest in October. It's going to be a good, grand old time in those cities when that happens. Heroes Con's a month away. Very excited for that show. Who else is going to be there? Anybody aside from me and Circumstances? Come on, y'all. Brian's going to be there. Oh, I love y'all. Lost in Comics. Y'all my homies, man. I wish I could catch more of your shows live. Thursdays, I'm usually either taking the night off or doing a stream. But I always try to catch what I can on the replay. Y'all do a great job. Super jealous of y'all meeting Rob Liefeld. All right, I was hoping Bob would show up, but he didn't. But it's time to go on to the next bit. Bullseye Bob sent me a care package, and in it was a bunch of fucking kung fu movies. And he sent me a note, and oh shit, I should have grabbed the note so I could have read the bit. God damn it. But he basically said that my next one was this film right here, Ricky O, The Story of Ricky, 1991, directed by Lam Nai Choi, written by Lam Nai Choi and Tetsuya Saruwatan. It's based on the Ricky O manga, a Japanese manga. It's a Chinese film based on a Japanese manga, starring Fan Su Wong, Fan Mi Xing, Ho Kai Kui, Yukari Yoshima, Frankie Chin. Music? No credit for the music there. Y'all, let's get into this shit. We're about to talk about this wild-ass movie that Bullseye Bob done had me fucking watch straight up. Let's talk about Ricky O, The Story of Ricky. Yo, this movie's fucking awesome. I loved this fucking movie. Now, when Bob sent me this, he gave me this note, and in the note he said, I just want you to always remember that it was me that introduced you to this movie. He said that this is a classic in Hong Kong Kung Fu cinema, not because that it's a masterpiece of martial arts, but because of the outrageous nature of it. He likened it to a trauma film, cult classic type thing. And Bob knows me, and I think he knew 100% that I was going to love this fucking movie. Fable says Ricky O is bonkers, and Bob knew that. Holy shit. So Ricky is a dude who's in prison. What happened was that his girlfriend at the time caught some dudes selling heroin or opium or some shit, right? And they caught her, and I guess they were going to rape her or something. Instead of that, she escapes, but she gets up on the roof and just leaps off the roof and fucking kills herself. So Ricky goes on this fucking vengeance, this revenge-fueled fucking tirade against the people responsible for that, and winds up in prison. So the whole movie is about Ricky in prison, and this is set in the, at the time, future of 2001, okay? And the warden and this is the assistant warden here, who has like a massive collection of VHS porn, and every time you see his office again, I swear there's fucking more of it, and he's got one eye and one arm, but he's running this corrupt-ass privatized prison. And I think Brandon from Brandon's Cult Films, or whatever his channel's called, it even mentioned like, so in this future, all the prisons are privatized money-making operations owned by private organizations, just like today, right? And then the warden, he shows up a little bit later. It's a great era, like a great usage of like the third man syndrome. We'll get into him. But Ricky is there in this prison of injustice, okay? And he's there for fighting justice. And this gang, it's like the gang of four, runs this prison. There's an east wing, west, north, and south. They each have a leader. This is one of the leaders, and that's another one of them. They are all interesting characters. This is like a superhero fucking movie. Ricky is a goddamn superhero. He is all that stands between the corruption of the system and the gangs running the prison and the ordinary good folk criminals that are in this fucking prison. He's the only thing that stands between them. He feels no pain. He's fucking badass. He's a goddamn superhero. He literally fucking punches through people, y'all. This movie is fucking gory. So first of all, the intensity that the main actor portrays in this movie is fucking awesome. This movie is not taking itself seriously, but I goddamn swear to God that this dude right here is taking himself super fucking seriously. But it is a gory ass fucking movie. There's this scene where this dude, he's the first boss basically that Ricky has to go against. He cuts himself open, pulls out his intestines, and tries to fucking choke Ricky to death. This shows you the level of gore. This dude just smashes this guy's head. Ricky's like literally punching through fucking people. It is insane. Long story short, they eventually get him. They capture him. They torture him. Nothing stops Ricky. Everything they do to him, he just keeps fucking going back. It all ultimately leads to a showdown with him and the warden. And you think the warden's just kind of some kind of schlub or whatever? No, he's a Klingon fucking Hulk, man. He like hulks out, has this big fight, gets fucking shredded by this giant meat grinder, decapitated. Ricky's holding his fucking head. He wins, busts a hole through the wall, and everybody fucking leaves. This movie is fucking awesome. It is gory as shit. It is fucking ridiculous. Ricky-O, the story of Ricky. I've got to personally thank, from the bottom of my heart, Bullseye Bob for recommending and sending me on DVD Ricky-O. And I watched it in the Cantonese version. I watched it in Cantonese with the English subtitles and didn't miss any of the fucking weird... Like, a lot of people like bad dubbing, but in this one, I wanted to see it with the intensity, and I think it added something to it. Because I initially did watch on a separate night, like a few nights ago, I tried to watch it, and I watched like the first 30 minutes in the English dub, and I just wasn't feeling it, and I dipped out. I just wasn't in the mood that night. But I did watch it this morning in the Cantonese. Fucking shit. This movie's fucking awesome. I also got to thank Verno and Dylan for allowing us to cover Pieces last night on Dylan's Horror Show. And I got to thank Dylan. I mean, my bad. I already thanked Dylan. I got to thank Jelani for Crew's Choice picking Black Dynamite. So I had a hell of a week of watching some really awesome fucking schlocky fucking movies that were fucking badass. For PCP movie night, we did Black Dynamite. For Dylan's Horror Show, we did Pieces. And for the Kung Fu movie today, we did Ricky-O. This fucking movie's awesome. I'm giving this a 4.5, you digs. I mean, for what it's trying to do, and the music is fucking awesome. Holy shit. This movie's so stupid, it's so ridiculous, but it's so gory and so fucking awesome. I'm going 4.5 tonight, y'all, and that's Ricky-O, the story of Ricky. Man, that movie fucking slapped. I'm just gonna fucking say that movie fucking slapped. Movie fucking slap. VCR 1989C says, "Oh, I heard about that one." Hell yeah. Mad respect for the pronunciations of these credit names, bruh. I was trying. Bobby De La Ghetto says, "That's a wild movie." William says, "Watch the Ricky-O anime." Okay, I'll have to check that out. Eric says, "Trauma plus Kung Fu." Holy shit. Mudfoot69 says, "I mean, we've all been there, am I right? My man's a low-budget Wolverine." Yeah, he kind of is. He's a fucking superhero. This shit is fucking awesome. I'd also recommend, I'm pretty sure the YouTube channel is Brandon's Cult Classics. He does like a lot of bad movies. Fucking nailed it on the review of this. Y'all, you got to get a hold of this. If you've never seen this movie, this is one of the most ridiculous, outrageous fucking films I've ever seen. And I love the fucking back of the DVD. It says, "The greatest Hong Kong martial arts action revenge gore-soaked prison breakout love story cult film of 1991 ever put out on DVD." They know what they're doing there. That movie's fucking awesome. I loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Bullseye Bob's not here, but he's in my heart. Thank you, Bullseye Bob. Love you. And Bullseye, if you're catching this on the replay, just know that last week I did my top 5 movies of 2002. Hero was number 1. But today we're doing 2003. Let's get into it. Top 5 movies of 2003. Honorable mentions. This year, I don't think was as solid as the previous few years, but honorable mentions go to Matrix Revolutions, Freddy vs. Jason, The House of Sand and Fog. Really like that movie. Old School, American Splendor, and A Mighty Wind. But my top 5, at number 5, I've got Mystic River. This is a Clint Eastwood movie with an all-star cast, including Sean Penn, Lawrence Fishburne, I fucked it up. Kevin Bacon. Mystic River is a hard-to-watch film. It's really, like, emotional, but I love it. I think it's incredibly well done. And there you go. At number 4, Big Fish. I think this is an underappreciated Tim Burton film. I think it's one of Tim Burton's best films. It's got this fantastical fantasy element to it, but it still feels more grounded than some of his other films. And I think it's one of Danny Elfman's best scores. At number 3, X2. This is my favorite X-Men film. I fucking love it. I think Ian McKellen really earns it as Magneto here. All the pieces fit. In the first X-Men movie, which I really, really like by Bryan Singer, but there were some pieces that didn't quite fit. I love it for that. But this, it all kind of came together, and I think this was the first and truly one of the only great X-Men films. I think the next closest thing might be First Class and Days of Future Past, but this is it. Then again, when we did the X-Men podcast, I said First Class. On that revisit, First Class stood out to me, but X2 still holds a special place in my heart. At number 2, Matrix Reloaded. I don't give a shit. I know a lot of people don't like the Matrix sequels. I do not like Matrix Resurrections. I do like Matrix Revolution, but I know a lot of people don't like that, and I get it. A lot of people lump Matrix Reloaded into that. I will go on air as saying Matrix Reloaded is the best Matrix film. I fucking love this movie. I think it steps up the action. The freeway scene is fucking amazing. It doesn't quite hit with concept as hard as the first one. So yes, the first one truly is one of those great cinematic milestones, one of those touchstones of cinema history. But Matrix Reloaded, do not sleep on it, no matter what you think about the franchise and how it wound up. And at number 1 is Kill Bill Volume 1. I looked at this year, I thought about it long and hard, and I was like, you know what? It's gotta be Kill Bill. Kill Bill Volume 1 is my number 1 movie of 2003. Quentin Tarantino. He broke this up into 2 movies, and controversial opinion, I actually like Volume 2 better than Volume 1, but I love Volume 1. And at the time, I didn't even have the guidance of Sifu Bullseye Bob, who is now here in the chat. Bruh, I just did my Ricky O review. Fucking loved it. Oh my God. I'll talk about that in a second. But at number 1, Kill Bill. I think this is a great film from Quentin Tarantino, one of Uma Thurman's best performances. So, 2003, I want to know, what are your top 5 favorite films of that year? And to recap, my honorable mentions, The Matrix Revolutions, Freddy vs. Jason, House of Sand and Fog, Old School, American Splendor, and Mighty Wind. But at number 5, I've got Mystic River. At number 4, I've got Big Fish. At number 3, I've got X2. X-Men United. At number 2, I got Matrix Reloaded. And at number 1, I got Kill Bill Volume 1. What are your top 5 films? 2003. You know, eventually, I'm going to run out of years. Bob, I don't know if you were here to watch it. I know that you probably will. But first of all, last week, 2002 films, number 1 was Hero. That's because of you, my friend. And right there, Ricky O, the story of Ricky. I gave it a 4.5. This movie is fucking awesome, man. This movie is fucking awesome. And I will always remember that it was you, Bob, that got me into, and you even sent it to me. Bruh, like I cherish this shit now, man. I'm gonna have to, when I meet you, you're gonna have to sign this shit for me. That movie changed my life. Hell yeah. Hey, we got Bueller in the house. Bueller Station. I hope Bueller had a great time at MegaCon. So, like, with Thursday night, I get a missed video chat from Bueller. I'm like, yo, bro, did you try to video chat me? Because sometimes that's an accident. People do it. You know, they hit the wrong button or whatever. And he goes, yeah, man, you free? And I was like, yeah. Never heard from him again, bro. Just so you know. Totally ghosted by... I sat there waiting, and I was tired that night, right? And I was, like, waiting on Bueller to video chat me, and he never fucking did. I just want everybody to fucking know that, okay? Love you, Bueller. I got to meet Bueller. I hope you all checked out the videos. I did a live stream on his channel. He did a live stream on my channel. He went karaoke in with us. He hung out for Free Comic Book Day. We hung out the night before. It was awesome meeting Bueller. Super cool. He says, nice choices. Hell yeah, Bueller. You got a top 5 for 2003? Billy says, Robbie, I love all 3 Matrix movies. Tell Neo I believe. Yeah, all 3. There's not a fucking 4th one. There is no Spoon. There is no Matrix 4. What the fuck was that? God damn, that was some bullshit, man. William says, Freddy vs. Jason, House of a Thousand Corpses, X2, 28 Days Later, and Kill Bill #1. I included 28 Days Later last week on 2002 because it was listed as 2002. It released in America here, but I guess it had its first release in 2002, so it was listed as that. But yeah, 100%. If that was this one, that would be my #1. No lie. It would overtake, what was the one? Kill Bill. It would actually overtake Kill Bill. Mike says, #5, Kill Bill. #4, Freddy vs. Jason. #3, Underworld. #2, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. Too many endings on that one for me, but it's an honorable mention. I should have put that in there. And #1, X2. Hell yeah. Bob says, I can honestly say I had the absolute privilege of giving Rockin Robbie his very own copy of Riccio. I love it. I love it so much. So Bob sent me more Kung Fu movies to review, but we're going to be doing a thing now where we alternate because I want to go through all of the John Carpenter catalog this year because I collected and finally have every single John Carpenter movie. So I'm going to start alternating Kung Fu Bullseye Bob picks with John Carpenter movies. So that means next week we start John Carpenter with his first film, Dark Star. So if you want to do your homework, you can do that. But thank you, man. Riccio was awesome. No, it's okay, Bueller. You don't have to say oops. I get it. You were like, oh, Robbie's going to miss my video chat. I'm goddamn Bueller. My phone's going off every goddamn fucking 10 seconds. I'm goddamn Bueller. He's going to miss me. I'm going to make him wait. It's okay. I understand. I've learned my lesson, bro. I'll never miss a video chat from you again. Keith Bush, what is up, my friend? Says, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, House of the Dead, Jeepers Creepers, and Holes. I've only seen two of those films, and that's League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Aggressively Relaxing says, I'm coming away with the 2003 discussion, mostly thinking I should rewatch Bulletproof Monk. I loved that comic, Michael Oeming. I used to have that comic. I don't anymore. What happened to that? Anyway, I wanted the movie to be better. Chow Yun-fat, Sean William Scott. I wanted it to be better, but I did like it. Two Gun says, that sounds like Bueller. I did not forget the Animatrix. I would put the Animatrix on there. I don't think every single bit in the Animatrix is good, but I fucking love the Animatrix. That is also a 2003 film. But I didn't want to fill everything up with 3 Matrix films. Eric says, Lost in Translation, Big Fish, Identity, X2, and Kill Bill. One of my favorite things about Identity is they all share the same birthday, May 10th. That's my birthday. Day I got COVID. Mark says, finally, someone who recognizes the Matrix sequels for the greatness that they are. Thank you, Mark. Bob says, I will have to go back and check out the review later. I was not expecting you to watch it so quick, so this will be awesome. Yeah, bro, I fucking loved it. Spoilers, I fucking loved it, man. I fucking thought it was great. All right, show and tell time. For show and tell, let's kick it off here. I got Shop Talk. Will Eisner's Shop Talk. This is a book put out by Dark Horse. It's Will Eisner interviewing tons of people like Neil Adams, Jack Davis, Gil Kane, Jack Kirby, Joe Kubert, Harvey Kurtzman, Joe Simon. So it's just a bunch of interviews with Will Eisner, like the king of comics, and I mean, the elder of comics, with tons of interviews with other people, including the king of comics, Jack Kirby. There you go. Next up, I showed these off on Dylan's Horror Show last night. I got these badass Mad reprints. So I've been wanting to get the early issues of Mad when it was comic book formatted, EC, Harvey Kurtzman, Jack Davis, Wally Wood. I've been wanting to find them in a cheap version. I finally did. You put a desire out into the universe, they respond. So that's a Mad magazine. It's Mad. Tales Calculated to Drive You Mad. It's a reprint of the first 3 issues. The next 3. And the next 3, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying. But I'm excited to open this up. We're going to be opening up a new bit here. I guess it's going to be like Mad in the 50s or whatever. But we'll be able to alternate that with Marvel in the 90s and DC in the 80s and Image in the 90s and whatever. But yeah, got these 8 special issues that reprint the first 24 issues of Mad. Hell yeah. I was talking earlier about how I never intended to have an X-Men run of anything necessarily. I have random assortments of X-Men comics, but I'm starting to piece together some late 80s shit, and I'm definitely going to have to finish this up. But anyway, I got Uncanny X-Men 245. This is a Rob Liefeld guest penciled issue with Dan Green inking, and it looks fucking awesome. And then, I've never had this, nor have I read it, but the Jim Lee Psylocke Mandarin trilogy. They covered this in Cartoonist Kayfabe. Got the newsstand version. This is X-Men 256, 257, and 258. So it's a Jim Lee trilogy here with Chris Claremont, in which that's the one where Betty, the whole switch to an Asian Psylocke happens. But excited to dive into these for a Marvel in the 80s. Is it 80s or 90s? It says 1990. I guess Marvel in the 90s. But yeah, that one right there. I looked through that. Rob Liefeld inked by Dan Green. Fucking shit. Looks great. All right. I got my Perceptor. Fable, you still here? I got my Perceptor. This dude turns into a fucking microscope. My cousin had this when I was a kid. I always wanted it. Never had it. Now I do. Speaking of Transformers. So one of the things I did when I was in my COVID lockdown and quarantine is one day I just decided, let me grab my Transformers and relearn how to change them. And some of them I've never turned into their alt forms. So I just started grabbing up Transformers. I found a YouTube channel that does a show called Just Transform It. It's a great one. It's way better than the actual instructions. So I got a lot of my open Transformers, my newer Transformers, into alt modes. Some of them I haven't done, like Gigawatt, which I have done before, but like Ultra Magnus, I've never done that one. But I'm just going to go ahead and share the ones I did. Fable's here, so this is for you, buddy. There's my Ectotron. So I got that in its alt mode. Ectotron. Here is Beast Wars Megatron in his T-Rex mode. There you go. Refractor. 3 different Decepticons that make one camera. I'm going to run out of room here. Grimlock. Got him in his Grimlock mode. Optimus Prime. It's backwards. Optimus Prime right there. Here's the little dude that goes with the refractor. He fell off. Let's put him back on there. Fuck yeah. Got that from Mike the Voice Matthews. That was a gift. Beast Wars Optimus Primal. This is the first time I transformed this, but Galvatron makes the fucking cannon. That's dope. Dope. Got my 2 Megatrons, the G1 and the G2. Got them transformed. Sometimes when you have COVID, you're just like, let me just play with some Transformers. Cyclonus. Covering up. What was I doing? There's a little dude that goes with, is that Wheelie? Little dude that goes with Grimlock. All right, Jazz. And for the first time, I transformed Hot Rod. And I really want the Rodimus Prime now. I skipped out on getting it. I missed out. I hope... God damn it. It's so expensive. Now we got the Seekers, Thrust, Skywarp. These are my favorite Transformers. Thundercracker, Sandstorm. Starscream. And that's G2 Ramjet. I don't have the G1 Ramjet or Dirge. It was an Amazon exclusive, super expensive. Don't have it. And I did finally transform my Bumblebee. And I really like this one, the way it transforms. It looks very, very authentic. So there you go. Lots of Transformers surrounding me now. Can't even move. You got to make the transforming sound when you do it. Fable says, just ordered the, yeah? It's the same figure that's in the the Jurassic Park one, which I haven't opened that one yet. So I still got a bunch of ones I haven't opened. I haven't transformed my Ultra Magnus, but I'll get to that. Just showed off G2 on the show tonight. Bruh, I missed that part. Matthew says, Rockin' Robbie, you rule. My buddy and I started a YouTube channel after getting inspired by you. Comics by the Bay. Thank you so much for your content and inspiration. Keep on rocking, man. You keep on rocking. Got the G2 Laser Prime? Hell yeah, mine's pre-ordered, bruh. I'm excited, man. Well, thank you. Where's Laserbeak or Soundwave? Soundwave is in there, and Laserbeak and Ravage. They are... I didn't transfer them into alt mode because I know those ones. So, like, I was trying to relearn some of these. Like, some I had never transformed. Like, I'd never transformed my Galvatron or my Grimlock. Or the Bumblebee. Those are the ones I had never transformed. But I'll transform more over the next week, and I'll show those off next week. Oh, and Hot Rod. I had never transformed my Hot Rod. The reason Optimus Prime died. Anyway. Let's move some of these out of the way. One of my favorite things about Ectotron is not only is it a really good representation of the Ecto 1, but it's got the little Slimer that attaches to it. Right there. So that's dope. That's super dope. Let's put them right there. Let's move some more of these Transformers. I'm not trying to get everybody or everything. I'm just trying to get the ones I really liked. The problem is exclusives make that a hindrance. I don't have an Ironhide. I don't have a Prowl. Don't have a Ramjet G1. Don't have a Dirge. I should have gotten fucking Wheeljack. There's a few more I'm thinking about getting. I'm thinking about getting into the Insecticons and all that shit. But I'm very excited now to have a Perceptor for show. My Autobots are lacking. All right, time for the final five, everybody. Going through the Blu-ray collection, we're in the R still. I got Revenge of the Nerds. It's a movie I used to watch a lot, apparently on TV, because whenever I watch it here on the Blu-ray, I'm like, oh shit, they went really far with that. But Revenge of the Nerds. Then we got Roadhouse. My man Bueller came on to the show to review this with us. This movie's fucking dope. Y'all check out that review if you missed it. It's great. And then these are all gifts from my buddy Hammer Time Holshoe. That's RoboCop on Arrow. And then on Scream Factory, written by Frank Miller, RoboCop 2 and RoboCop 3. And for RoboCop 3, do got the slip. It's an easy slip to find. Don't have the slip for the others. But the RoboCop trilogy, Revenge of the Nerds, and Roadhouse, that is your official Final Five. And that brings us to the end of the show. What a great show, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Had a grand time doing show and tell, talking about Riccio, talking about everything, everywhere, all at once. Bob, if you haven't seen that movie, I think you'll really like it. It's fucking weird. It's wild. It's ridiculous. It's so good. I really, really like that movie. Did a Marvel in the 80s. DC sneak peek. We talked about our favorite books last week. Looked ahead to this week. Bruh. It's been a grand old time here in the town and city tonight. And I just want to say thank you so much. Don't forget to stay in touch. I am Rockin Robbie. Rockin Robbie Tour 2022. Coming to Heroes Con, Charlotte, North Carolina. If you want to send a super chat or a super thanks, until the end of this month, we will get it right before we go to that show. And I'll buy Doug Wagner a drink with it. PCP movie night tomorrow night, Dead Man. Saturday night, New York Ripper on Dylan's Horror Show. All right, y'all. On behalf of everybody here at PCP, thank you so much for checking out the show. We've had a grand old time tonight. I am Rockin Robbie Billups. Station, pop, pop, boom. Keep on rocking and keep on living, keep on loving, and all that other jam. Strawberry, if you please.
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math. When I hate, I attack. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't stop, just give me up.
So I've been, transforming all my Transformers and all that shit. So we're going to open up some of the ones in the next few weeks that I haven't opened up yet, including this Astro Train. Fable showed this. This is a true blame Fable. I skipped on this when it first came out, and then Fable showed it off one day, and I regretted not picking it up, so I got it. And we're going to open it up. Astro Train turns into a train, a space shuttle, and of course a robot. That's pretty dope. A triple changer. I got my Blitz wing ordered too, bruh. Just when you thought you were out, they pull you back in. So there it is right there. Astro Train. Let's just pull out the robot mode, dude. The main piece of it. I also do have a Shockwave, and I haven't transformed that, so I have to learn how to do that too. And I bought him loose. I hope I have all of his pieces. All right, let's just pull him out. Let's just toss that over there for now. All right, there's Astro Train in his regular ass alt mode, which is pretty dope on its own. And like I said, this dude turns into a train and a space shuttle with a landing, or a launching platform, I should say. Pretty fucking dope. Fable says, Astro Train, yes. Blitzwing is next. Hell yeah, I'm pumped for him, bro. He's going to be pricey, but it's going to be worth it. And I got to get a Rodimus Prime. I got to commit to the bit. I obviously didn't get the Unicron, but I have a Unicron set aside that I'm going to get. It's a little pricey. Could use some super chats. It's a little pricey, but we'll get it. But I think it's the Armada one, and it's loose, but it's going to be a Unicron. So I got to have a Unicron. Gotta. All right, y'all. That was great, man. It's a good show.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
So, when Mike was last on tour with The Darkness and the Dead Deads, he was in Canada. He picked me up some chips. Last week we tried the cheesies. They were fucking delicious. Tonight we're trying something I'm really curious about, but they're Old Dutch. Apparently this is like one of their house brands up there. But this is Old Dutch Ariba, like Dorito knockoffs, but it's spicy dill pickle. And it shows pickles and habaneros. I don't know I don't like pickled chips. I can't imagine this being very good. But it is Canadian. So I can always relive this. I'll show the back there. And the front. We're going to open these up and try these spicy dill pickled chips. Okay. Do it. Oh, man. All right. Couple things. If anybody remembers, Doritos, probably like 2006, 2007-ish, had these flavors. They were like Doritos After Dark or something. It was like jalapeno poppers, and they had tacos after midnight, and they had like cheeseburger. The cheeseburger had like a dill pickle ketchup-y type thing to it that worked for what it was trying to convey, but didn't necessarily work as a flavor. That's the dill pickle I pick up. When I first eat it, I get a little bit of spice. It's not super spicy at all. It's there, but it's not super spicy. That's what you get at first. You get a nice clean tortilla, corn tortilla kind of flavor with a little bit of kick, just a little bit of spice, just a little tiny bit. And it's good, man. And then this dill pickle flavor explodes, wrecks the entire experience. And now a lingering, sour, nasty, dead vibe on my tongue that I do not like whatsoever. And this is coming from a guy who, for the first time in his life, on Friday night at the Korean barbecue, was eating kimchi by the fucking forkful. Holy shit. It's gross. Let me try another one. It started off good. Pickle was a little bit too much. The aftertaste is atrocious. Good. Pickle. Don't like them. One you dig out of 5. Jesus. Don't like them. I'd rather eat a habanero and a pickle. All right, we're out for real. Thanks for watching. We love you. Station.